What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 7PQ. Chapter 151 Sugar and Monet open black lens bracket please subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertisement. Your Majesty, judging from what happened just now, Doflamingo should be arriving soon. Barrow and others have long discovered that there is something wrong with the people on the shore. Some of them are not nonsense crew members and boatmen at all, but the eyes and ears created by Mingjae and others. Not necessarily. Maybe King Riku found us first. After all, Dressrosa is such a big place. As a king, King Riku naturally needs to control the situation here at all times, but his strength is not enough. Yang Feng said nonchalantly that the reason why King Riku was seized of power was entirely because of his lack of strength. The strongest person in Dressrosa was Cyrus, but Cyrus's strength was as high as Vice Admiral level. It doesn't even have the Vice Admiral level. It can be said that it is so weak that the entire Dressrosa has become a prop in the hands of Brother Ming, and a huge network of relationships has been built to directly block the entrance to the New World. In the original work, Brother Ming once told that he was the chain that restrained the New World 4 emperors. Once this chain breaks, no one can restrain the New World 4 emperors. To be honest, what he said is nonsense. He is just a Doflamingo. Is it possible that the 4 emperors will not do anything because of him? It is impossible. He is cooperating with Kaido. Cooperating with Kaido, he wants to create an army composed entirely of ability users, while Sherlock and Linlin are busy looking for people to marry and strengthen their own power. Blackbeard Teach is focused on finding devil fruit and doesn't know what to do. Needless to say, Shanks. In short, Kaido is probably the only one among the 4 emperors who will listen to him. As for the others, he is not qualified at all, so the chain is just an excuse for him to get out. By the way, while they haven't arrived yet and are wandering around, maybe we can encounter some surprises. After saying that, Yang Feng dispersed everyone and wandered around, but he took Robin with him. It is safest for everyone to have his protection now. After all, he is already the strongest among everyone. Yang Feng, it doesn't matter if I call you that. Robin thought about it carefully and asked. After all, she was already a member of the Quincy at this moment, so whether she should call him His Majesty or not was a question. No problem, don't look at Barrow and the others calling me Your Majesty. It's just a code name. I just regard them as companions. I will never be stingy with my companions, so it doesn't matter if I call you Your Majesty or not. Advertisement. Regarding the title, Yang Feng himself mentioned it to Barrow and the others, but their minds were completely accustomed to such a name, so Yang Feng ignored it. It was just a title. I see, I thought I had to call you Your Majesty. Robin breathed a sigh of relief. It wouldn't be a problem if he really called her, but he just might not get used to it. Although I plan to build an invisible empire, I don't want to build an invisible empire with only a hegemonic government. There is probably not much difference between such an empire and world government. He, Yang Feng, is not Yhwach. He did build an empire, but it was not necessary. He just wanted to use the empire to help him find devil fruit, so he thought of building an empire. If it weren't for the fact that the source of devil fruit was a problem, wouldn't it be great for him to sail around freely on the sea with his companions? Why bother with so much effort? 1,000 devil fruits are terrifying to think about. Now I only have more than 100 devil fruits. I only got them by looting the Celestial Dragon's treasure house and the world government's treasure house in the entire Holy Land. Otherwise, it would be in vain. Therefore, it is necessary to build an empire. It just so happens that he also dislikes the world government in this world, so he just does it. Naturally, his first goal after entering the new world was here, to prevent Brother Ming from messing around in his own land. The first step in establishing political power was to start from the entrance of the new world. So, where are we going now? We can't just wander around on the street. Looking at the streets that were almost deserted, Robin said helplessly that the Invisible Empire has become too popular recently, so basically everyone in New World and the first half of the Grand Line knew about the existence of the Invisible Empire. And their appearance here without any cover-up naturally caused panic, so that there was no one on the street, and even some stalls had no time to close up. It doesn't matter, I've sensed there are other Reiatsu on the street, let's go and take a look. After saying that, Yang Feng walked towards where Reiatsu was, and then he saw 2 little girls, one was about 6 or 7 years old, and the other was a teenager, appeared early. Advertisement. Sister Monet, why do you think those people become toys when I meet them sometimes? The 6 or 7-year-old girl looked at the big loli next to her with a puzzled look on her face and asked. I don't know, but Sugar, you have to remember not to touch others casually. Even if you do, you must control yourself and not turn others into toys, like we are doing now, otherwise it will cause panic. After all, we just learned from our neighbors. If the country comes over, it cannot cause too much panic. Monet said helplessly, she and Sugar are very good sisters, both of them are orphans, but people whom Sugar touched half a month ago will inexplicably turn into toys, and their existence will disappear directly, except for the toys themselves. Others cannot remember him. As a result, there was a certain sensation, and Sugar was regarded as a monster. Although it was a new world, not many civilians knew about demon fruit power. I've read a book before that described them as 2 sisters, so I'll just write them that way. Knowing Sister Monet, I can control her, but it's still easy to lose control, just like this puppy 3.1. After saying that, Granu tentatively touched a stray puppy in front of him, and then the puppy turned directly into a toy, like a clockwork dog. Sanduang, how many times have I told you, don't use your abilities casually? Monet screamed helplessly, he couldn't count the number of times he did it. I'm sorry, Sister Monet, I'll change it back right away. After saying that, Sugar's control ability changed the puppy back, but the puppy ran away in fear. Have those with childlike fruit abilities eaten it now? But that's right, Sugar's ability can only be developed in a few years, so this time period is also right, but it will actually be with Monet. It's incredible. Yang Feng saw all this and kept sighing. Advertisement. Chapter 152 Recruiting Open Black Lens Bracket. Please subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertisement. You two little girls, could you please stop for a moment? Yang Feng spoke when the two were about to leave. They were the only ones on the street at the moment, and the others probably didn't know where to wander. Wah, what? Monet and Sugar didn't expect there would be anyone here, so they were stunned for a moment. Did you see what happened just now? Monet looked at Yang Feng with an uncertain face and asked, they finally came here from a neighboring country just to live a normal life, instead of being treated as monsters. But now others are seeing what Sugar is capable of. I've seen everything I should see, and I've seen what I shouldn't. This little girl's ability is to turn living creatures into toys. It's a very good ability. Yang Feng said with a smile on his face, he wanted to know what the two little girls would decide next. As expected, they were seen. Since there's nothing you can do about it, Sugar, turn them into toys. This way you won't expose your abilities. Just be nicer to them in the future. Monet made up her mind and said that she did not want to continue to escape. It felt very bad to be regarded as a monster at any time. I know, sister. After saying this, Sugar stretched out her little hand towards Lei Feng and the two of them, wanting to turn them into toys before they could react. Since Sister Monet has said it, then turn it into a toy for me. Sanduang's hand touched Yang Feng's thigh in an instant, but nothing happened the next moment. Sanduang's ability could not cause any harm to Yang Feng. How is that possible? Could it be that Sugar's ability is useless? No, it must be that he can't control it again. This thought came to Monet's mind when he looked at Sudang and Yang Feng. Sugar, quickly activate your ability and turn them into toys before there is anyone there yet. Advertisement. Monet shouted anxiously. She was very nervous now. It had failed long ago but now it fails. Isn't this playing tricks on herself? Sister, I have activated my ability, but it has no effect at all. Granu also looked anxious. It wasn't that she didn't do her best, but that it was of no use at all. Don't waste your efforts, your childlike fruit ability has no effect on me at all, and you haven't even touched me at all. Yang Feng shook his head helplessly. These two little girls were really cruel. They even wanted to turn himself and Robin into toys if they disagreed, but it was understandable that they were all for their own lives. As the saying goes, if someone doesn't do it for himself, he will be punished by heaven and earth. If it were Yang Feng, he might have made the same choice, or even more ruthlessly. Childlike fruit. By 2 inches. Both Monet and Sugar looked confused, not sure what Yang Feng was talking about. To explain simply, she ate something called devil fruit. Once eaten, this thing will have superhuman strength, and what she ate is the country called Tongchu fruit. Thus, the person gained the ability to turn people into toys, and the person who eats this fruit will remain in the form of the fruit for the rest of his life, and will never grow up, and cannot be frightened, otherwise the ability will lose its effect. Yang Feng explained all the abilities of the childlike fruit, but at this moment, Monet didn't know what to say. People know your abilities better than you, a person with abilities, and it makes me drunk just thinking about it. I have another question, why weren't you turned into a toy by Sugar just now? Monet raised his own question. According to him, he would turn into a toy once touched, but why didn't he change? It's simple, he didn't touch me, he meant this. After speaking, Yang Feng raised his palm, and a wall of blue spirit seeds appeared on his hand. He had also wrapped himself with this thing just now, so what Granu felt was the spirit sun, not the spirit sun. His body. As for the armament hockey thing, it was used to deal with Logia ability users. He had never heard that armament hockey could invalidate people's abilities, so he used the spirit child instead of armament hockey. Are you also the so-called demon fruit power? Advertisement. Monet asked expectantly. Once you find someone of the same kind, it will be much easier. It is best for people of the same kind to accept each other. Let's put it this way, how about it? Do you want to join our camp? Everyone in our camp has special abilities. You can treat this place as your own home. Yang Feng saw the right opportunity and threw out his olive branch. He didn't believe that these two little girls would not join in. This was the first time they had met the same kind. I hope you can take Sugar away. After all, she is a capable person, but I am not, so I won't join you. Monet's face was a little sad, she was just an ordinary person now. Do you just believe in us? What if we are slave traders? Regarding Monet, Yang Feng was speechless for a moment. You don't even know who I am yet you dare to hand people over to me. No wonder you were subdued by Brother Ming. It turns out it's that simple. Yeah, no, I'm going to follow you for a while to see who you are. I can't give you the sugar yet. Okay, Monet said after Yang Feng's reminder. Have you not eaten devil fruit yet? How about this one? 410. You must know that this is the last fruit in my hand. If you don't want to eat it, I can also teach you different powers. For example, what I said before the power used. Yang Feng said as a fruit appeared in his hand. This was the last one he had left. There is no use in keeping it anyway, so just use it. Huh, this fruit looks just like the one I ate. Sugar looked up and saw devil fruit, and immediately screamed. Although the appearance was a little different, it was the same thing. I chose to eat this fruit. I promised Sugar that I would always be with her, so I chose the fruit. A look of determination flashed across Monet's eyes, and then he directly picked up the fruit in Yang Feng's hand and ate it in one gulp. It tastes so bad. This is the most disgusting thing I have ever eaten in my life. How on earth did you eat the sugar? After Monet took a bite, the taste of devil fruit burst out. It is said that the taste of devil fruit is worse than shit. Yang Feng expressed that he was puzzled by this. Has anyone ever eaten shit? To know that it tastes even worse than shit, it's so g awesome, but it's definitely unpalatable. From Monet's expression, it can be seen that it's very unpalatable. It's unpalatable. To explode. Advertisement Chapter 153. Doflamingo seeking death. Please subscribe. Advertisement. How is it? What is your ability? This fruit is a fruit in Logia, and it is very expensive. This one was among the fruits obtained from Ryugu Castle, but after all, there was no devil fruit illustrated book, so it was impossible to identify it. He had not found it when he went to the Celestial Dragon's treasure house before, so maybe he was not qualified to enter the treasure house at all. I seem to be able to control the wind and snow. After Monet finished speaking, a thin layer of ice appeared on his arms, and light snow began to fall in the sky. Logia snow fruit. I gave it to Monet. Isn't it a coincidence? Yang Feng looked at Monet in astonishment. In the original work, Monet's ability was snow fruit, and now it is also the same. This fruit was obtained from Longgong City. Neptune may sell the fruit later. And then he was robbed by Brother Ming again. Your ability is Logia snow fruit. The current Marine Admiral Iokiji's ability is Logia snow fruit. If you develop it well, your ability may be as good as his. So decide now, do you want to join us? Yang Feng's meaning is obvious. You have eaten my stuff, how can you still say that you don't want to join? If you don't join, you will return the stuff, and if you don't come, you will use yourself as collateral. I seem to have no choice now, so I, Sugar, will join you. Monet was helpless about this. She had already decided to join when he ate the fruit. He knew what this thing was, but he also knew that it was valuable. After all, after eating it, he could gain superhuman abilities. So she decided to join from the beginning. After all, such a valuable thing was given to herself, which showed that they had no intention of doing anything to them. Even if there was an intention, it would not cause any harm to them. Very good, then welcome to join our Invisible Empire. You will be a member of the Invisible Empire from now on. Yang Feng was very happy that he had recruited two characters from the original work so easily, and both of them had good abilities, and they were still Ming Ji's subordinates. Advertisement. Invisible Empire. Monet immediately screamed and jumped up. Sugar was still young and didn't know what the Invisible Empire was, but she knew that she was already a teenage girl, so she naturally cared about the information in the newspaper and naturally paid attention to it. Live the Invisible Empire. I know, you are Yang Feng, the leader of the Invisible Empire, and Nico Robin, the son of the devil. You are actually here. I just said that you looked very strange to me just now. Monet finally recognized them. After all, these people were considered by Marine to be extremely evil and dangerous people. However, after getting along with her this time, she felt that the people in front of her were pretty good, at least they didn't have any airs. Do you recognize it? Yes, I am Yang Feng. Once again, I welcome you to join. You can regard the Invisible Empire as a home, and everyone in it as a companion. Even I am the same. I did not build this empire for dominant. Yang Feng said nonchalantly, he has never felt that he is more noble than others. As a modern otaku, this is very clear. After all, he has been exaggerated since childhood. Hello, I am very honored to join the Invisible Empire. There was still a trace of nervousness on Monet's face, and her tone of voice was also a bit nervous, but she was relieved when she saw that Yang Feng didn't care. After all, in her opinion, how could a being who could defeat Marine not put on airs? Woolen cloth. I didn't expect someone to get there first. The person with the childlike fruit ability is a cadre I value. I wonder if you can hand her over to me. Okay, what does Cheng Yaojin come out halfway? This is called Cheng Yaojin coming out halfway. No, it should be said that Doflamingo comes out halfway. Doflamingo, are you sure you want someone from me? I don't think you, Doflamingo, don't know me. Yang Feng said with a funny look on his face. He still wanted to grab it when it came into his hands. He just wanted to say one thing to Brother Ming, you think too much, and don't think of doing anything wrong here in the future. Yang Feng, leader of the Invisible Empire, your strength should not be as strong as the other subordinates. After all, although you are the leader, I know that your subordinates are the strongest, and there is also a living fossil here. Advertisement. Brother Ming said with a slight smile on his lips, and then several figures walked out of the darkness. You actually think you can steal people from me with these people? Do you know what you are thinking? Looking at Brother Ming, Yang Feng's eyes became dangerous. He originally planned to find this guy to cooperate, but now it seems that there is no need at all. Doflamingo is already on his must-kill list. Asterisk backquote. You are the only one here, your other subordinates are all elsewhere, and I have sent people to find ways to hold them back. We will leave after the battle. Even your Invisible Empire can't do anything about it. Brother Ming said with a sneer. He felt that his plan was perfect. With so many people on his side, it shouldn't be a problem to snatch 2 people away before others come over. You are really confident. You dare to do anything as long as it is beneficial. What gives you the confidence? Is it because of your celestial dragons? But this identity seems to be outdated. Your brother Ming is now not the celestial dragons anymore. Or maybe you are so confident because of your cooperation with Kaido. If that's the reason, you might as well forget it. Even Kaido is just an existence that can be destroyed easily in front of me. Yang Feng looked at brother Ming and said calmly, joking, it would be okay if he let them snatch people away from him. How did you know, Li Wangjiao, that I am a celestial dragons? What do you know? Brother Ming's expression changed instantly. Not many people knew that he was a celestial dragons, only Sengoku and the others and a few of his cadres. Others didn't know at all. Don't worry about it. You Doflamingo will regret the decision you have made now. If you dare to attack my companions, I think you are tired of living. Yang Feng shouted loudly, and his face instantly darkened. A terrifying Reiatsu came out of his body and enveloped the entire Dressrosa in an instant. The air on the entire island was distorted, and the clouds in the sky were shattered by Reiatsu. Your Majesty is angry. It seems that you can't continue playing. All the Quincy on the entire island felt this Reiatsu mixed with anger, and they suddenly trembled one by one. They instantly eliminated the enemies in front of them and rushed towards the place where Yang Feng was. Advertisement. Chapter 154 The Donquixote family is about to be destroyed. Please subscribe. Advertisement. How? Why is there such terrifying pressure? Is it Conqueror's Haki? No, it is completely different from my Conqueror's Haki. It can even be said that it completely crushed me. What kind of fruit ability user are you? Brother Ming has always felt that people on Yang Feng's side have their own abilities, and these abilities may be similar, but they may just be Yang Feng's special fruit ability. For example, he ate some transformation fruit, so he transformed it. There are many examples of this. The modified fruits are all weird, and he has even begun to prepare the artificial devil fruit plan at this moment, which is why he is eyeing Dressrosa. Once he has the opportunity to take action, he will naturally seize the power of the entire country, just like Crocodile, but that guy is such an idiot, and he only focuses on Pluton. No matter how powerful Pluton is it still useful if you die. Therefore, Crocodile is an idiot. He only focuses on external things and does not consider himself at all, completely wasting a good fruit. Doflamingo, anyone who dares to attack my companions is already dead. So are you ready? But a sinful person like you will probably not feel better after going to hell. Yang Feng doesn't know if there is an underworld in this world, but he knows one thing, that is, the cause and effect of heaven really exists. Once the accumulation is too terrifying, then you will just wait for death, so these guys are happy to burn, kill and loot all the way. But there will be good times in the future, and no one knows when retribution will come. For example, Brother Ming, it is equivalent to the world sending him a protagonist, Luffy, and letting him lose at the hands of Luffy. This is the so-called retribution. Wait, I heard that you have been looking for devil fruit, so let me go, I will provide you with devil fruit. No one knows the type and quantity of these devil fruit better than me. I can use devil fruit to buy my life. Quote. At this moment, Doflamingo finally realized how stupid he was to dare to provoke such a being. He was very afraid of death, otherwise he would not have cried and made a fuss after losing his identity as celestial dragons. I'm sorry, I originally planned to make a deal with you, but now you have been blacklisted by me in the Invisible Empire, and what you have done makes me unhappy. Doflamingo from Tianlong, a Baj gentleman. Advertisement. Yang Feng stepped on Brother Ming's back in displeasure and said, no matter how many times I saw this guy, he only had a better character for giving up his Shichibukai position for his subordinates. In other aspects, he was just a scum among scum, a trash among trash. By the way, you seem to have some cadres under your command, but it seems that not all of them are here. You must have lost your companions to stop me. I have to say that you are really stupid. My subordinates are not that easy. Deal with it. As soon as Yang Feng finished speaking, figures appeared from the sky and landed in front of him. He had to explain that he was stupid. He thought that it would be okay if these people were not around him, but now he didn't expect that it would be like this. What exactly do you want to do? Do you really want to drive us all away? Doflamingo's face also darkened, and he asked with a gloomy look, his anger also coming out. People who have been bullied a lot may seem to be very honest people, but they often do very puzzling and shocking things. But Ming Jie is like a wolf in his heart, very vicious. So how could Brother Ming be willing to be stepped on? Even if he faced someone stronger than himself, he would not shrink too much, otherwise he would not have awakened Conqueror's Haki. What is necessary for the awakening of Conqueror's Haki is the so-called aptitude for a king. As for the so-called potential to become a king, then haha. Whitebeard and others are indeed Haki, and the awakened conquerors can be said to be so, but is Luffy overbearing? On the contrary, he is just a single-celled organism, so he will only awaken in a specific group of people, that is determination. This is Yang Feng's understanding of conquerors. Only by being fearless and firm in one's determination can conquerors be awakened. Naval headquarters is obviously working under others and must follow the rules. Conquerors can't exist for such people who keep following the rules without daring to innovate, and even if they do exist, they will disappear without a trace. The Donquixote family, the family you built by yourself, has countless scumbags at the moment. Only your brother Corazon is normal, but he is from Marine and Sengoku's adopted son. How can you compare? Quote. Advertisement. Yang Feng exposed Corazon's identity without a care. At this moment, Corazon was still a member of the first generation, so he was considered a member of Brother Ming's side. As soon as he exposed other cadres, they focused on Corazon. UB asterisk 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 D. Doflamingo kept shouting and released his own Conqueror's Haki, but it was of no use at all. Conqueror's Haki is used to frighten existences weaker than himself. In the original work, Shanks and Whitebeard were the strongest at that moment, and Yang Feng's strength is not in the same dimension as them at this moment. Once he fully masters his power, everything will be easy. The members of the Invisible Empire obey the order and kill them all. The members of the Donquixote family will kill them all. Yang Feng smiled and showed his white teeth, but at this moment, in their eyes, Yang Feng had completely turned into a devil. He actually wanted to completely wipe out his family, and not even Corazon was left behind. Yang Feng also thought about this. Corazon has only one biggest role, and that is op fruit, but is it necessary? By then, Yang Feng will probably have established his entire team, and this guy is also Sengoku's adopted son. He and Marine were incompatible, so there was no reason not to kill him. It didn't matter whether he was Corazon or not. As for Sengoku, that would be easier. Just crush him. You are too arrogant. People from the Invisible Empire are too arrogant. We are from the Donquixote family. Let me go, Dover. An unusually high-pitched voice came. Needless to say, Yang Feng knew who this guy was. The only person in the Donquixote family who could make such a strange voice was Pica. Although he looks tall and thick, his voice is so strange and he is extremely unsure of himself. He gets mad when others talk about his voice. If he really had the strength, who would dare to talk about him? He just took advantage of the fruit. Once he knew his weaknesses, his strength was nothing to fear, especially more than 10 years before the plot started. A piece of garbage. Advertisement. Chapter 155 Unilateral Crushing. Please subscribe. Advertisement. Boom. Countless boulders condensed and formed a huge stone mountain, which was pushed towards everyone. Can those with the stone fruit ability sink themselves into the earth and use stones to cover up and achieve their own goals? But it's a pity that such a trick also has fatal weaknesses. Yang Feng looked at the mountain being pushed over and said disdainfully, Zoro has already found out his weaknesses, and the current Pica probably can't condense the giant that he will be in the later stage. As soon as Rujin Jaka came out of his hand, he was not even released. A flash of sword light flashed, and the stone mountain was cut in half in an instant. It can be said that there was no resistance. Big. Great swordsman. How is it possible? It's actually the great swordsman. Who is responsible for this guy's information? Pica looked at this scene in disbelief. The realm of a swordsman is to cut steel, and a strong man at the level of a great swordsman is no longer limited to the so-called sword moves. For example, Hawkeye, no matter who you are, just strike with a sword. I'll chop it up for you, and there will be no disadvantage. At this moment, Yang Feng's sword light reached at least tens of meters, completely blue, and cut a huge gap in the ground. The corner of Pica's mouth twitched when he saw it, but he was not afraid. After all, even Haki was not afraid. It's easy to hurt him. Take my trick and return Dover quickly. Pica roared, and half a huge giant slowly formed. That's right, it was half, and the body of this giant was very small. Compared with the giants that were hundreds of meters tall in the later period, it was not big enough. Now this half giant is only just over 10 meters high. Trash, if you're going to die like this, then just die for me. Little Bumby, I'll leave this guy to you, and I'll blow him up to nothing. Yang Feng directly asked Bambietta to take action. Bambietta's ability is explosion. What is explosion? It just disappears with a touch. Pica can hide in rocks. But when all the rocks become the target of attack, how can he avoid it? Can he still avoid it? Don't take it as a joke. Since it is His Majesty's order, I have no objection, but this guy's voice and appearance are really disgusting. I almost couldn't help but vomit. Advertisement. Bambietta said that a large number of small balls gathered in front of her, flying towards the stone giant one by one, and instantly exploded the giant's body in half, making Pica unable to return to the ground for a moment. His ability without touching the stone is naturally the ability of an idiot. But at this moment, he is in the upper body. After all, if he wants to have good control, he must be in this position. It is because of this that others can take advantage of it. Machine. Go to hell. Countless light balls condensed, and the next moment they rushed towards Pica, whose upper body was still in the air. The dense explosion sound almost made everyone's ears explode, and at this moment, Pica had already exploded. He couldn't resist such a dense explosion, and the rocks were blasted higher and higher, so that Pica didn't even have time to escape. In just a few seconds, half of the giant was destroyed and only one was left. Small pieces. Aren't you coming out yet? You are really brave enough. In that case, I will give you something good. As Bambietta spoke, a huge ball of light appeared in his hand, with a diameter of 3 meters. He threw it out instantly and hit the last stone. Ah, Pica just let out a scream and knelt down. Even more than 10 years later, this guy's strength is only at the naval headquarters vice admiral level. Now he is even more unbearable. How can he face the admiral level Bambietta? How to die? Pica, who was the first to stand out, died like this. He didn't do anything and then died. His death was worthless and meaningless. It must be said that Yang Feng and others were crushed at this moment. None of these guys will have admiral-level combat effectiveness in the future. Brother Ming should have it after the breakthrough, let alone now. Yang Feng really can't figure out why they dare to provoke him and others. You know, even Marine was repulsed by himself and others, why should they? Everyone, move quickly and crush the entire Donquixote family directly. Let these guys know what real power is. Yang Feng said without caring at all. Pica turned into meat paste in just a few rounds. At this moment, everyone was even more frightened, especially when they heard that the Invisible Empire was going to make them angry. Donquixote family Mingay immediately stopped working. Advertisement. 0 request flowers 0. The people of the Donquixote family are his Doflamingo's bottom line, so he will not allow anyone to hurt his own people. It is not bad to have such a leader, but the problem also arises. He is too cruel to others. The people of the Invisible Empire quickly moved into action, crushing them unilaterally. Each of the cadres were defeated, especially Mahabezi, who always used tens of thousands of tons of pressure in the original work. He originally planned to use his weight to overwhelm everything. But facing Gerard, who is flourishing in power play, he is completely vulnerable. At this moment, he can only use thousands of tons of pressure, but let alone thousands of tons, even 10,000 tons are in front of Gerard. What can it be? So much so that this guy was defeated in an instant, and then the entire Donquixote family cadres were defeated one by one, and effortlessly, which can be said to be terrifying to the extreme. 0. At this moment, Brother Ming realized how stupid what he had done was, and he actually did such a stupid thing. He now knew that there were no weak people in the Invisible Empire, and they were the weak ones. This time he grabbed something from Yang Feng because he thought Yang Feng was trash, but he didn't expect that he kicked the iron plate, which turned him into this. Soon, all the cadres were defeated, and even a few were killed. The dreamers did not have the slightest sense of propriety in their actions, and they killed you directly. You dare to destroy my Donquixote family, I will kill you. Brother Ming struggled wildly for a while, and his eyes turned red. Then the ground slowly turned into lines, and the surrounding buildings also surged and turned into lines. The fruit has awakened. What a coincidence. If it weren't for me, it would have taken more than 10 years for him to awaken. But this time, he was forced to explode under tremendous pressure. As the saying goes, there is motivation only when there is pressure, so Brother Ming exploded at this moment and awakened the fruit in an instant, but even so, he was not an opponent. The sea of countless lines condensed was suppressed in an instant. Regardless of Yang Feng's current strength, even Gerard and Barrow were no match for him. It would be useless to completely clear these lines without any pressure. Advertisement. Chapter 156. Brother Ming dies, King Riku appears, please subscribe. Advertisement. Even if you awakened the fruit ability, you still can't avenge your subordinates. You made an unforgivable mistake from the beginning, so please go wherever you need to go. Yang Feng doesn't care about any bullshit plot. The plot has been turned upside down since he came. If Brother Ming dies, he will die. Anyway, he has been unhappy with him for a long time, and this guy also plans to steal his own people. This if not seeking death, what is it? Quote dot 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 dot. Before Brother Ming could finish his words, a blue blade of light penetrated his head directly. The soul-severing object. Although Yang Feng had the Quincy cross blade and Rujin Jaka at the moment, the soul-severing object was still very useful. Isn't it? So far, the heavenly yaksha on the sea and the clown in the underground world, Doflamingo, have been killed by Yang Feng in the later period. Naturally, this kingdom will not cause as many tragedies as in the original work. Kill all these people, and new guests have arrived, but this time the guests don't seem so brainless. Doflamingo is dead, and King Riku has not appeared until now. They were stopped by Ming Ji's men on the way. They were no match for Ming Ji's men. Even Cyrus was still too young. So it has been delayed until now. After seeing the corpses on the ground, King Riku and others also had horror in their eyes. The big pirate Doflamingo is an existence that even the Marine Vice Admiral Crane cannot hunt down. Now he is dead here, but he doesn't think it's strange after looking at the lineup of Yang Feng and others. The power of miracles, the penetration of all things, etc. are all here. If Brother Ming is not dead like this, he doesn't know what to say. King Riku, are you sure you want to welcome our invisible empire like this? Be careful of being destroyed. He still has something to say about King Riku. There is no doubt that King Riku is a very good manager. The country he manages is almost integrated into one, and he can be regarded as a king of the people. Everyone from the invisible empire, I'm really sorry that I've only arrived now, so can I ask what you want to do here? King Riku seemed fine on the surface, but he was not at peace in his heart, because Marine had already set off and would probably be here soon, and this time Marine was determined. Therefore, in the eyes of King Riku, this guy is someone who will bring war to his country, so he is very anxious to send everyone away. Advertisement. King Riku, do you know what will be your future if I don't come Dressrosa? What will be the future of your country? Or what will be the future of your people? Yang Feng's few questions directly stopped King Riku. Originally, he thought Yang Feng was just blowing nonsense, but considering that he was the leader of the invisible empire, and his feeling told him that these things Yang Feng was really no. How's it going? Are you curious? Then let me tell you, if we don't come, the world government will launch the Shichibukai project in a few years, recruit big pirates, and then carry out a crackdown on pirates. As for Doflamingo, he is one of them in the future. In a few years, he will slowly and completely wipe out your political power. By then, you will naturally no longer be his opponent. He couldn't win with strength, he couldn't win with intelligence, and it was even more unfortunate to win with a team, so that King Riku was completely trapped in an infinite loop. In the end, we had to wait until the protagonist and his party arrived to rescue the entire Dressrosa. It can be said that it was the ultimate tragedy. He was in charge, but he was not suitable for fighting. What do you want to do? King Riku stared at Yang Feng with a serious face, trying to see some answers on his face, but in the end he failed. There was no trace on Yang Feng's face at all. I want this country. I want this country to break away from the world government and then join my invisible empire. I will build the invisible empire on your island. Yang Feng said very bachelorly, not caring whether others could bear it or not, but King Riku could not accept it. If they broke away from the world government, they would be the ones who died, and their warships were already on the way. So it's better to leave early. Impossible. How can I hand over my country to you? Absolutely impossible. King Riku exploded immediately. This guy is really cruel. He wants to kill the whole country at once. This is costing his own life. Funds are the king, not only for his own interests, but also for the interests of the public. 0. I won't make things difficult for you. We just need to establish a stronghold here. In addition, the flag on your island will be replaced by ours. From now on, this will be our territory. As for your opposition being invalid, you have the strength. Don't speak if you don't have the strength. Advertisement. Yang Feng was very straightforward and stopped talking to others. This is really nonsense. You actually want our country. Our country only has one king, King Riku. If you want to use coercion and inducement, then give up on me. I, Cyrus, will not let you go. Cyrus stood up and spoke. After joking, this is his home. One day, a force suddenly comes and tells you that this territory belongs to us. How could he agree to such a ridiculous reason? In this case, King Riku, do you want to make a bet with me? If you win, my invisible empire owes you 3 conditions, but if you lose, you must join the invisible empire. Yang Feng spoke again. What bet? King Riku couldn't care about other things at this moment. He knew that he had to bet, otherwise the problem would be big if the other party did something. It's very simple. The Marine will be here soon this time. I will move the battlefield to other places. 3.3 will not hurt Dressrosa. How about we bet on whether we can defeat the god of war Marine and the world government this time? Yang Feng threw out Laozi's own suggestion. They must win anyway, otherwise they will be impelled down or executed collectively. I can promise you to take this bet. Once you defeat Marine and the world government people, we will return home. It's too late for King Riku to be happy. It would be great if Yang Feng defeated the world government people. After all, they naturally don't like the world government. Once they lose, they will be slaughtered or arrested. No matter how you look at it, King Riku will feel that he has taken advantage. Okay, then just keep an eye on it. Yang Feng immediately became happy. This time the people from the world government came to give him money and devil fruit. Advertisement. Chapter 157 The Army Suppresses. Please subscribe. Advertisement. After King Riku reached an agreement with Yang Feng and others, Yang Feng left Dressrosa with his people and went to a nearby uninhabited island. He found that Marine was really shameless. But it's right to think about it carefully. Last time, Marine deployed almost all its troops, but world government's secret troops were not included. Therefore, world government must have had his own ideas in launching such a big battle this time, and Yang Feng also borrowed this idea. Let's take a chance to see how strong they are. After all, if the world government has been able to survive for hundreds of years, it can be considered capable. At the same time, the pirates in the New World are naturally paying attention to this battle. No, I shouldn't say the pirates, but the entire first half of the Grand Line and the New World are watching. There are even many desperate reporters who keep flocking towards Dressrosa like moths to a flame. It can be said that they will do anything for money. Journalists are like this, completely desperate. However, Yang Feng estimated that with so many reporters, Marine would intercept them completely. After all, reporters still have to obey the orders of the world government. After all, the world government is their backer. 01. At the same time, a huge fleet was sailing quickly towards Dressrosa, and this ocean fleet was naturally from Marine. There are 30 top warships in total, which has emptied almost all the inventory of the entire Marine, and there is even a little bit given by the world government, which is why such a large formation was created. It's not that weak people can't do anything in the face of such advanced combat power. On the contrary, if the strength gap between the two is not very large, then these weak people will be the last straw that breaks the camel's back. So this time Marine not only brought Garp, Sora, and 2 mysterious beings, but also brought a large number of vice admirals from naval headquarters. At this moment, there are only 5 vice admirals and Sengoku guarding the entire naval headquarters Marineford. I don't know if we are right or wrong in coming here this time. If we fail again this time, Marine's face will be completely lost. Garp sat on the deck with a helpless expression and said that he was very reluctant to participate in this operation. He had been beaten badly the previous time, and coming again this time made him feel like a dog skin plaster, but he was indeed that kind of people. Advertisement. Otherwise, he would not have chased Roger all over the sea, but he still couldn't let go of the big stone in his heart. His intuition told him that even if they came this time, they would come back in vain. Garp, I warned you back then. You are a Marine, and you are also a Marine hero. The image you represent is the image of the entire Marine. If you don't even have the consciousness to fight, how can you fight this battle? The old man standing next to Garp spoke. The old man had white hair and beard, but he was unusually tall. Even Garp and Zephyr looked like children in front of him. Coupled with the scars on the exposed skin, it is easy to tell that this person has experienced hundreds of battles, and he is a strong man at a glance. His whole body exudes a terrifying coercion, and this person knows without saying much. Who is it? The former Marshal of Marine and the current Commander-in-Chief of World Government, Kong, is nicknamed Kong, which shows how powerful this guy is. I don't want to, but this matter is originally caused by Marine and World Government being too unreasonable. Although I have always thought that I will not be disappointed with World Government and Marine, and I have seen enough darkness, but now that I think about it, it is really too tender. Garp said with emotion on his face that he didn't become an admiral just to avoid doing those nonsense things, but he didn't expect to be dragged onto this pirate ship in the end. After all, he was a Marine and his subordinates were Marines. The world is like this. I told you back then that big fists are the last word. Whoever has the biggest fists in this world has the best chance of becoming the king. Sora said with a disdainful look, what kind of bullshit justice is just deceiving a child? After becoming the world commander, he saw many times more darkness than Marshal Marine. Slowly, he naturally became what he is now. I know all this, but I still want to retain some justice. This may be my long-cherished wish. That's right. Garp sighed and said nothing more. He had nothing to say. The ideas he had when he was young had long since disappeared, and what was left now was probably regret and helplessness. Advertisement. That's enough. I don't care what you look like now. When the war starts, remember to fully utilize your strength. After all, you are the flag of Marine now. Only you can make them improve their momentum. Sora couldn't say anything else. He knew what kind of person Garp was. He basically abided by justice, but he had no choice but to do it because he was a Marine, so he couldn't do anything to harm Marine. He, Sengoku, and Zephyr all joined the army together and spent almost half of their lives on Marine. Naturally, they did not want to see Marine disappear. In the original book, Zephyr was forced into a dead end. War. When will this kind of life end? Who should complete the mission of the D family? It's been 800 years. So what if this thing happened in the first place? I can only be a descendant. Garp looked at the sea and kept sighing. He felt a pain in his stomach when he thought of the mission of his D687 clan. So many years have passed, but why must he abide by it? Maybe it's Dorag too, but let's leave these things to the next generation to think about. After thinking about the matter, Garp stopped staying here and went back to his room to fight with Senbei again. Two of you, you know the situation this time. The other party is very strong. The 5 elders also asked you to come to avoid accidents. When the time comes, 2 of us will entangle their 2 highest combat abilities. After arriving at the command room, Sora saw 2 secretly hidden people from the world government. The names of these 2 people were very simple, one was named Mie, and the other was named Chi. The fruit abilities of the 2 people are very special. One is a Logia fire extinguishing fruit user, and the other is a Paramesha air fruit user. Both of them have special abilities. Of course we know, Commander Kong, this time your majesty the 5 elders has asked us to follow your orders and kill people from the invisible empire on the spot if we encounter them, so we will cooperate with you. The 2 of them started talking. They were both middle-aged men who looked to be in their 30s or 40s, but they could not tell whether they were strong or weak. Advertisement. Chapter 158 The attention of major forces, please subscribe. Advertisement. Dad, according to our intelligence, Marine has arrived at Dressrosa. It is estimated that he will fight against the invisible empire soon. Are we really not doing anything? Marco looked at his father and asked. After leaving the Fishmen Island, they did not go far, but stayed in the nearby sea, waiting for the coming of this battle. In Whitebeard's eyes, this battle was enough to make him suffer. He paid attention. No, Marine can't do anything to deal with the brats of the invisible empire. Besides, it's not my Whitebeard style to be the one behind the scenes. I'm Whitebeard. Whitebeard said with a nonchalant expression, and poured wine into his mouth from the huge wine bowl, as if he didn't care about Marine at all. After all, he is Whitebeard, who is known as the strongest man on the sea, so he naturally has his own arrogance. I know Dad, then I will inform the people in other divisions. I will not take action easily, but I still have one thing I want to ask. There was a trace of hesitation on Marco's face. He didn't know whether he should ask his question. Marco, you are the child I like most. You are not a troubled person. Tell me what the problem is. Lousy Whitebeard's men don't need this kind of confusion or hesitation. Whitebeard waved his hand, allowing Marco to boldly ask his questions. The child he recognized as Whitebeard was not such a timid child. Dad, since this time has nothing to do with us, why do we still have to go? This may put us in some danger, so it is better not to go. Marco hesitated for a while and then said, he felt that there was no need for him and others to go there. As for the battle between the invisible empire and the 12 levels of government, who was stronger and weaker could be found in the newspapers, right? It's not that simple. No matter where the problem occurs, it will have a huge impact on us. If the world government wins, then it goes without saying that the world government has a stronger power, and it is also a force that our Higurashi pirates cannot resist. Quote. Furthermore, if the people from the invisible empire win, then they will need to avoid the people from the invisible empire in the future. Advertisement. Whitebeard said helplessly, he is not afraid of Yang Feng and others, who is he? He is Whitebeard, but what about the others? These people are his favorite children and do not want any problems to occur, so he does not want his children to have any problems. Question. This time is another good opportunity to detect the strength of the world government. Naturally, he will not let it go. Not only him, but other forces at sea will not let it go easily. Kaido and others who left the Fishman Island before naturally did not go back, including the ant who returned to Cake Island and brought her children with her. However, the ideas of these two guys are not as simple as Whitebeard. Sherlock Linland's idea is to find out the strength of the world government and the invisible empire on the one hand. On the other hand, he wants to see if he can take advantage of the autumn wind. Maybe he will make a fortune. Kaido's idea is very simple, it is war. Naturally, he will not let go of such a huge war easily, and plans to directly trigger the war in one go. This time, Kaido's subordinates were a little scared. Even the three disasters thought that their boss was crazy or something. He actually wanted to play against these two monster organizations. If you don't die, we will die. After all, the marine formation this time is really too big, 30 top warships, what kind of concept is this? Even Buster Call has to get out of the way. Buster Call is a super force consisting of 10 warships, each warship has 1,000 marines, 1 rear admiral, and 5 vice admirals in the naval headquarters. Ohara was destroyed by this thing at the beginning. Later, in Eni's lobby, Spandam, AB**********D, accidentally pressed the golden phone bug, and then opened the Buster Call again, directly destroying the entire Eni's lobby. This time there were 30 ships, and the naval headquarters combat power was almost fully deployed. In short, such a team could sweep almost all countries in the world. But now it is only used to deal with one force. It can be seen that this time the world government is determined to play a life and death game with the invisible empire. Anyway, it is either you or me who will die. Many forces on the sea have also gathered near Dressrosa. It can be said that Dressrosa is now completely surrounded by major organizations in the world. Advertisement. Bala Bala. Bala Bala. On an uninhabited island, 3 warships were parked outside. At this moment, Yang Feng and others were waiting for Marine's arrival on the island. Soon his phone to Lord Riku rang. Chief Yang Feng, all Marine personnel have arrived at Dressrosa. First have told Marine your location. I believe they will arrive soon. After King Riku finished speaking, he stopped talking. The meaning was very simple. I have done everything I can, and the next step is up to you. Your strength is the most important next. I understand, King Riku, just be prepared to follow me. By the way, remember to contact a few kings you are familiar with. Maybe they will also join us by then. Yang Feng knew very well that this time might be the last collision with the world government for the time being. After this time, if they win, they can naturally ignore the world government and start to expand their power. If they lose, they will be directly beaten back to their original shape, but will they lose? Yang Feng has never thought about this problem at all. In his eyes, this time Marine is delivering food to him no matter who comes. His strength has become incredible after inheriting everything from Yhwach. West. What he needs now is a fight, an unreserved fight, so that he can stimulate this power and quickly turn this power into his own. Then I wish you good luck in martial arts and I'm waiting for your good news. After King Riku finished speaking, he hung up the phone. To be honest, he didn't believe that Yang Feng and others could win this war because he saw an old acquaintance, the former Marine Marshal Sora. So his confidence in the invisible empire was immediately suppressed. Who knows what trump card the world government used this time? How could a regime that has stood for more than 800 years be suppressed by an inexplicable organization so easily? So he doesn't believe it. He thinks that the people of the invisible empire will definitely lose this time. This peak battle will once again establish the status of world government and suppress all resistance organizations. Advertisement. Chapter 159 Wartime has arrived. Open black lens bracket. Please subscribe. Close black lens bracket. Advertisement. Report. It can be seen that the ships of the Invisible Empire have indeed stayed outside the island, and all the people of the Invisible Empire are on the island. The speaker is a world government user with the ability to see far away fruit, which is somewhat similar to the staring fruit, but his ability is only to see far away, rather than seeing into other people's hearts. It is slightly inferior to the staring fruit, but as a detective type not bad either. This time, the world government has made all preparations. It is coming for the Invisible Empire in order to destroy the Invisible Empire. The existence of the Invisible Empire has begun to threaten the world government, so the 5 elders do not care about exposing their strength. It seems that they are waiting for us here. If the general forces heard about such a lineup, they would probably hide somewhere. These guys really don't know how to live or die, and they are waiting for us here. Kong said with a funny face. Before he heard King Riku say that Yang Feng and the others were waiting for him here, he still didn't believe it, but now he couldn't help but not believe it, they were indeed waiting for them here. Don't be too happy too early. Every time we meet him, his strength and the strength of his subordinates will become stronger or even more numerous. We don't know where these people come from. Garp shook his head and said, from the first time he met Barrow and Yang Feng, the number of people has increased a lot, and even the 180 strength has become a lot stronger. It can be said that they are completely different, so he doesn't. I can guarantee that the strength of the Invisible Empire will continue to grow stronger. If it continues to grow stronger, then I and others will be doing useless work. No need to worry, our strength is not comparable to that of ordinary people. With all due respect, Vice Admiral Garp, your strength may not be our opponent. Mie and Chi from before have already arrived on the deck. That's right, Garp. Don't always think of the outcome of things so badly, otherwise problems will arise. Before Mie and Chi could speak, a man whose whole body was shrouded in darkness spoke, and he was obviously very familiar with Garp. Are you sure you want to do this? If you really do this, our entire marine reputation will be greatly damaged. Advertisement. Garp looked helplessly at the man in black robe in front of him. He was very familiar with this man in black robe. So what? As long as the invisible empire can be destroyed, it is justice, so I won't hesitate this time. People in black robes don't care about these things, but only care about winning or losing. As the saying goes, whoever wins is the boss, whoever loses is the trash, it's that simple. The world is also so cruel. Garp stopped talking and just looked at the man in black robe intently. However, the man in black robe obviously didn't want to look at him and quickly looked away. At the same time, the man in the boat also came to the side. Marine, you guys came too slow, but this formation is really quite big. It has surpassed Buster Call by an unknown number of levels. Would you like to introduce your new helper this time? As soon as the ship moored on the shore, Garp and others heard a familiar voice. Then everyone quickly looked up and saw a group of people appearing above them at some point. You can fly without stepping on the air, and you can stand firmly in the air. I can do it too. Seeing everyone stepping on the air, Chi, as an air fruit ability user, naturally looked down upon them. If he wanted to, he could condense the air and let himself stand in the air, but he didn't know what method the other party used at the moment. You are very arrogant. It seems that you are members of the world government. This should be the world commander-in-chief Kong. 3 admirals, Zephyr, Garp, Kong, 2 unknown strong men, and this black robe people, plus so many miscellaneous strengths. Yang Feng couldn't help but narrowed his eyes. This time he wanted to give world government some pain, otherwise he would feel very unhappy when these guys always jumped around in front of him. Are you Yang Feng, the leader of the invisible empire? You are just a brat, as Garp said, a bodge, but you can actually create such a force at this age. I have to say that you are indeed a genius. Quote. Advertisement. Well, if you can submit to the world government, I believe the world government will welcome you very much. Why would you want to fight to the death with the world government? This doesn't make any sense at all. He had a passion for talent and wanted to recruit geniuses like Yang Feng and other strong people into the world government, but his idea failed from the beginning. World Commander, Sora, don't even think about it. The creation of the invisible empire is inevitable. This should be the highest combat effectiveness your world government can produce in the future. In addition to installing the 5 immortals, you also not qualified. Yang Feng said very disdainfully, he still wants to recruit himself, he must be thinking too much. Sure enough, there are 2 more people among them that I have never seen before. What is going on? Why is there no news about these guys being so powerful? Garp said with a headache, everyone here is a strong person. If you want to become a strong person, it will not work just behind closed doors. You must go through experience, and with experience, your reputation will naturally explode. But the existence of any of these people is a mystery, and even the world government's best efforts cannot find information about their past. Are there 2 more? Except for the miraculous power Gerald Valkyrie and the all-penetrating Liji Barrow, the combat effectiveness of the others should be at the admiral level. We already have a complete advantage here. Kong glanced at the people beside him and nodded. His idea was very simple. The 4 of them were responsible for holding back the 2 most powerful combatants, and then Marine Admiral 3, the man in black robe, and Zephyr 5 on his side. Personal. After excluding Barrow and Gerard, there are naturally only 4 people left on the opposite side, including Yang Feng, only 5, and there are also many Marine Vice Admirals. In this way, the balance of victory is tilted towards his side. Bar. Inform the warships at the back. There is no need to block reporters from coming in. Let all reporters come in and make the destruction of the invisible empire public to the world. This will also build our reputation. There was a slight smile on Sora's lips when he spoke. It seems that the battle has been won this time. In this case, let the reporters take enough pictures and take pictures of the bravery of himself and others. When the time comes, the world's anti-government organizations, it will probably be a huge blow. Chapter 160. 1 verses. 5. Please subscribe. Advertisement. We actually brought all the reporters in. I really thought we had a chance to win. But that's fine. These reporters can just be used as propaganda for the invisible empire. This way things in the future may be easier to handle. Seeing that Kong actually let groups of reporters in, Yang Feng immediately became happy. This guy is just trying to promote himself. They seem to be bound to win the battle, but in Yang Feng's eyes, why not? But there is always only one winner, and this time Yang Feng knew without even thinking that it must be his side. He got all the inheritance of Yhwach, so if he still loses, he doesn't have to continue, and goes home to wash up and sleep. Come on. Protect these reporters and let them remember everything they saw today. Then according to the plan prepared before, let's each find their opponents. With Kong's order, all the Vice Admiral and above the Vice Admiral on the ship rushed out to look for their respective opponents. There are more people, but this time my opponent is not you. Kizaru glanced at the others and then skipped them. He rushed directly in front of the duo of Masco and James. He was not interested in the others. The purpose of his coming today was just to take revenge and avenge the original revenge of the Sabayati archipelago. Yellow Monkey, has the scar healed and forgotten the pain? As a villain, you must have the consciousness of a villain. Seeing Kizaru coming to him, Masco immediately started mocking him. In his opinion, Kizaru couldn't even use his strongest trick, so what else could he use to fight him? Moreover, demon fruit power has obvious weaknesses, here but on the island. Outside the island is the sea. Once they are beaten into the sea, they will be doomed. For espers, sea water is a deadly poison and the nemesis of every esper. You actually said that I am a member of the evil party. I have already said that before, so it seems that you are the one who is the evil party. Kizaru once started to complain. In his opinion, these guys are the so-called evil party. After all, he is a member of the world government, so he naturally represents the righteous side. Evil party, you can't say that. You are just an evil party in my eyes, and your world government is also an evil party in my eyes. Advertisement. Masco mocked again, making Kizaru not know what to say. He found that the guy in front of him seemed to be unable to make sense at all, and it was useless to say anything to him. In this case, there is no need to say anything more. This time I want to avenge my previous revenge, light speed kick. Kizaru didn't say much, and quickly fought with Masco. The two began to fight, and the others also ushered in their opponents. Akainu was approached by Not, haven't you always had a clear conscience? Then let fear control you and give it a try. Dreamer Gremmy faced Zephyr, Bambietta faced Aokiji, San Admiral and his predecessor Admiral was finished like this. They have found their respective opponents. Now it's our turn. Remember the previous division of labor. Now let me entangle the two most powerful people, while you go and take down their leader. Kong said the last sentence to the man in black robe, and then several people rushed out. However, Barrow and Gerard did not stand up at this moment, but stood back and stared at the audience. On the contrary, Yang Feng was the only one people rushed out. Guys, I think you should rest here for a while. You don't need to interfere with the battlefield over there. The 5 people were directly blocked by Yang Feng. As for Yang Feng who dared to block the 5 of them by himself, their first thought was that this kid was crazy and wanted to block 5 of them with one person. You be asterisk 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 D, are you crazy? You rushed out all by yourself. When Garp saw this scene, he couldn't help but cursed and shouted in disbelief. Crazy. Maybe. In your eyes I am crazy, but in my eyes I am not crazy. Small divine destruction x5. 5 small sacred arrows of destruction were shot at everyone. Although they were only small, they were made by condensing a large amount of spirit seeds, so it was impossible for them to break them casually. Puff 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 puff. With 5 words on his face, the small-scale sacred destruction was easily destroyed by 5 people. Yang Feng was not surprised by this. If he couldn't even deal with the small-scale sacred destruction, he should go home and sleep. Advertisement. Very powerful, no less powerful than an admiral. How did this kid practice? But even standing up to stop the 5 of us is a bit too reckless. 0 please ask for flowers. Garp was frightened at the speed at which Yang Feng's strength was improving, but he was also worried about whether Yang Feng really had the strength to stop him and others. You must know that Marine is well prepared this time. In addition to people of admiral level and above, there are also a large number of vice admiral and rear admiral. There are already a few people in the Invisible Empire, but now it is not that simple to face so many people. It can be solved. I'm very curious. You can tell at a glance that these 2 people are people sent by the world government, but who are they? They are still wearing cloaks. Where did you find this foreign aid? Yang Feng looked at the man in black robe with great interest and said that he was familiar with Kong and Garp. One was someone he had seen for several months, and the other was seen in comics. The other 2 did not make any cover-up. So these 2 people should be from the world government, but the last man in black robes left him speechless. In a battle of this level, if you pass on a black cloak, can it be covered up later? It is better to expose the true face directly. You will know who he is soon. Finally, I will give you a chance to lead the Invisible Empire to surrender, so that when you grow old, you can still ask the 5 elders to let you live. Sora was still a little reluctant. He naturally liked such fighting power, but he was not one of his own. Don't think about it, people from the Invisible Empire, there is no word surrender in the dictionary. Today, this matter must be sorted out. Whether it is the world government or our Invisible Empire, both need to be settled. Yang Feng said resolutely, not caring at all that the people in front of him were super strong. Very well, in that case, don't blame me for being rude. Since you dare to stop 5 of us by yourself, let us see how strong you are and whether you are worthy of the title of world government's #1 enemy. Quote. After Kong finished speaking, he took the lead and rushed into the sky on the moonwalk. The following people also rushed over quickly, and the whole scene suddenly became a 1-on-5 situation. Sora no longer cares about it. Anyway, these reporters are in his own hands. He can change them however he wants. Chapter 161 Marshal Sengoku Open black lens bracket please subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertisement. Finger pistol, Kong's iron finger. Kong's fingers turned into a steel-like color. At a glance, it was obvious that it was entangled with armament hockey, and he poked Yang Feng's head. It must be said that it was cruel enough, and he directly hit the fatal point. When, with a loud noise, Kong's finger stopped in front of Yang Feng, and what blocked his finger was a knife that didn't seem to have any special characteristics, but this knife blocked his finger. Is your knife the 12 skills of the supreme sharp sword? Impossible, there is no such weapon among the 12 skills. What kind of weapon is this? I'm finger but even a sharp knife can smash it at will. Sora looked at his finger in disbelief and asked. In this world, the only thing in this world that he can't poke is the supreme knife. But this is not his full strength. Even with the full strength of the 9 kings, the supreme knife may not be able to withstand his attack. Bar. After all, weapons are also made by humans, so there is a reason why humans can destroy nature. It does not mean that the 12 workers are necessarily the strongest and cannot be defeated at all. Whether they are man-made or naturally formed, they all have a lifespan, it's just a little faster and a little slower. Strictly speaking, this thing is not the hardest thing in the world. The supreme sharp knife is actually compared with my Quincy cross blade. You really appreciate those knives. As he spoke, Yang Feng waved the sword in his hand, and 5 huge sword lights swept towards the 5 people, immediately knocking them down. You must know that such an attack can only be carried out by a great swordsman, such a young swordsman. No matter how you look at it, there might be something wrong with that. Tear. The 5 people successfully blocked or avoided the sword light, but naturally there were also some problems with the clothes on their bodies. The black robe of the man in black robe had completely disappeared, revealing this guy's true face in Lucian. You are, Sengoku, aren't you supposed to be in charge of the overall situation at Marineford? I'm afraid the naval headquarters will be ruined if you just follow me here. After seeing the true face of this guy, Yang Feng was completely speechless. It turned out to be Marine's current Marshal Sengoku. This guy actually hid himself and came secretly. Marineford Sengoku was transformed by a person with the ability to transform. Unexpectedly, we have spent a lot of money to defeat you. If we can't win you all, the world government will lose its face. Advertisement. Sora's words are nice, but to put it bluntly, it's just a conspiracy. A battle or the appearance of an ordinary person will have great variables, let alone the Marshal Sengoku, so his appearance can be said to enhance the combat effectiveness. A lot. It turned out to be Marshal Sengoku. Does that mean Marineford's Marshal is fake? Marine actually deceived us like this. Some reporters began to speak angrily. Sengoku, the Marine Marshal, actually followed him sneakily and rushed out at such a critical moment. What the hell is this? Idiot, please keep your voice down and look around. This is Marine's territory. There are so many people staring at us. If we report any bad news, we will be dead. Another reporter rolled his eyes and said, this guy looks like a new guy at first glance. Will Marine let you expose everything so easily? They, the older generation, naturally know Marine's peeing. Because you have a chance of winning, you let yourself and others come in to report. Once there is a bad image, you will not be able to break the news. If you break the news, you will probably be invited to have tea by Marine. That's right, you're new here, so be careful. You can't report whatever you want in Marine. You'll understand after you work for a while. Another reporter spoke up and said everything to death. If you don't want to die, just take it easy, otherwise there will be no place for you on the sea in the future. It's because of their seniority that they know exactly what's going on. Marine is simply a shameless group, and anyone who offends them will be destroyed or suppressed. The older generation reporters were talking to each other, which made the young reporter break out in a cold sweat. He swore that he would resign when he returned and would never be a reporter again in his life. Buddha palm impact. Sengoku's big hand turned golden yellow, and continued to grow in size, turning into a 2-meter huge slap. He slapped it out, and a huge shock wave mixed with hockey hit him. Children's stuff, the cross of destruction. A cross-shaped slash flew out from the annihilation cross blade, and quickly shattered the golden shock wave directly, and rushed towards Sengoku with undiminished power. Destroy it. Advertisement. The cross slash was blocked by Mie, and in an instant it was destroyed and his wife dissipated into the air. Airspace. Destroy. As Chi's words fell, the air spread within 10 meters with Yang Feng as the center continued to compress toward the middle, as if it was going to completely crush the person into a pulp. Extracorporeal hemostatic device. Bright red lines emerged from the body, and a strange blood shield formed outside the body. When the air was compressed here, it could no longer be compressed, and Chi originally wanted to control the air inside to compress. But soon he found that his ability was isolated, which was equivalent to a closed space, and he was very unable to compress the air inside. The extracorporeal static blood device directly strengthens this space. No matter how you compress it, it will remain the same unless your strength exceeds his. Let me come. Destroy and slash. A gray weapon slashed at Yang Feng, who was wearing a static blood suit. At this moment, Yang Feng seemed to feel the threat of death and quickly dodged away. However, this gray slash did not have earth-shattering power. Instead, it completely wiped out the 3.2 woods behind him without making any sound. It was extremely weird. I am the one who ate the fire-extinguishing fruit. Everything is focused on destruction. No matter what it is, I can destroy it for you. The person who had slashed before said proudly, after all, the ability of this fruit is indeed destruction. It is a power close to the rules, but it is not as good as his omniscience and omnipotence. How about you? Yang Feng looked at the other person and asked. This person's strength should not be underestimated. He probably came together. My name is Chi, and I am an air person who ate the air fruit. You will die under my air pressure. Chi said very confidently, but the behavior of these two people was a bit painful, and they directly exposed their fruit abilities. Chapter 162 Rujin Jaka, please subscribe. Advertisement. These two boys are still too young. Although they have good abilities, they actually let it slip at this time. It's better to let them know that they don't know their abilities. Sengoku, Garp and Sora are very helpless. If you are so upright and say it like this, it will really cost you your life. Once the enemy knows your fruit ability, they will naturally be able to easily deal with you. It's really easy to deceive. You've exposed your abilities like this. Garp, do you want to join the battle? I won't be merciful this time. If you're afraid that the two of them will die, you can take action. After speaking, Yang Feng put back the cross blade of annihilation, and held Rujin Jaka's handle in his hand. Do you still need to change weapons at this time? The one just now is obviously very good, and it may even be a knife that can hit or surpass the level of the supreme sharp knife. Don't you think this Yang's weapon is not good? Sengoku couldn't help but clenched his fists. This was just showing off their wealth naked, but to be honest, they couldn't use famous swords so randomly. Although they didn't use them, many vice admirals did. In that case, let the two of them go first, just to see how strong they are and whether they are worthy of the title of Secret Weapon 01. Kong said calmly, as if the people fighting above were his juniors, and he was examining whether these juniors had the ability to be called a secret weapon. He still remembered that when he was leading people away, the 5 elders had repeatedly warned them to treat them well, otherwise he would not care about them if they got angry. It seems that the people below are not planning to support you. You are really unlucky. Then let me ask you to see what a real flame is. After speaking, Yang Feng slowly took out the Rujin Jaka on his back, and the Zanpakuto, which is known as the oldest and strongest fire system, appeared. Everything in the world will return to dust, Rujin Jaka. With the appearance of the word spirit, countless flames spurted out from the blade, and the ultra-high temperature distorted the surrounding space. In this regard, the temperature of Akainu's magma was simply the dregs of dregs. Hiss, hiss, advertisement. The ultra-high temperature of the flame directly roasted the water in the entire sea to slowly boil. The sea closest to him even began to evaporate, and white mist slowly rose into the sky. How is it possible? Is it a person with Mera fruit ability? It's impossible that this temperature has already exceeded Mera fruit. What kind of fruit ability is this? It has such a terrifying temperature. The three of them looked at the cooked fish and shrimp on the sea and they didn't know what to say. Such a terrifying temperature was so much stronger than Akainu's magma. Are you curious about the temperature of these flames? I can be responsible and don't tell you. Be careful. The temperature here is 6,000 degrees, so you'd better not be touched. After speaking, Yang Feng gave a cruel smile, and with a movement of his feet, he rushed towards Mie with an extremely hot wind. He made an upward stroke with the sword in his hand, and this stroke made Mie feel the fear of death. The breath of destruction. Mie, who was jumped by the flames, released countless gases to wrap himself inside. This was the aura of destruction. It completely enveloped Mie. The flames would disappear the moment they hit the aura of destruction. This shows the horror of this fruit. Place. No matter what you encounter, it will destroy you. It is the ability to touch the rules, just like Whitebeard's shock fruit, and Golden Lion's lion fruit. Boom. A bigger flame burst out again. Yang Feng wanted to test how strong this D's destructive aura was. There must be a limit to what he could withstand. It's not good, the phone bugs are a little bit exhausted. The temperature here is so terrible that even the phone bugs can't hold on. Soon the reporters were also panicking. The phone bug was so hot that it showed how terrifying the temperature was. One gray-black, one fiery red, the two colors were stagnant in the sky, but the gray-black aura slowly retreated a little under the bombardment of the flames. Airspace, clear. Chi's first reaction when he saw this scene was to completely evacuate the air here, but how did he know that Rujin Jaka's flame burning did not require air, only the spirit sun was enough. Advertisement. So even if he takes away the air, in addition to making Yang Feng feel a little uncomfortable, what will suffer even more is the destruction inside. How can he fight without air? Rujin Jaka, Yin Zan. Putting his left hand on the back of the sword turned into an arc across the sky. The flame disappeared, but the fire-extinguishing aura had not disappeared, but when the gray-black aura was about to retreat, a crack appeared on the aura. The entire aura of destruction was directly cut open by that knife. Ah 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 ah. A tragic cry came out from the sudden aura of destruction, and then the defense of the aura of destruction burst like a soap bubble, and one of Mie's arms inside had completely disappeared at this moment. His left hand was cut off directly by Yang Feng. It's a pity. Because I couldn't see you, I could only aim casually. Otherwise, I should have killed you directly. I'm really sorry that I didn't give you a happy ending. Yang Feng pretended to be sorry and said 203, and everyone was immediately disgusted. I have seen people who are pretentious, but I have never seen you being so pretentious. That one, I remember that you are playing with the air. In that case, please have a good time and burn the city. With a stroke of the sword, a huge wall of fire completely enveloped Chi, forming a huge world of flames. At this moment, Chi looked at these flames with disdain, thinking that these flames could not hurt him. But the next moment, he knew what it meant to not know how high the sky was. He had just appeared above and was pushed back by the flame dragon several times, and he also found that he could no longer sense the space outside. So his ability is almost useless. After all, Yang Feng's power is not activated by air, but by spirit particles. Spirit particles are everywhere, so it is not a problem at all. What a scary little kid. How much have you grown in this short period of time? You actually solved the world government's 2 trump cards so easily. But it's just temporary. We will appear next. Garp shook his head helplessly. These 2 arrogant guys were completely tortured as soon as they came up. What about himself and others? Is it the same? So he had to lament that the speed at which Yang Feng's strength increased was simply incredible. Chapter 163 The Power of Visionaries. Please subscribe. Advertisement. The battle between Yang Feng and the 5 men was about to break out, and almost all of Marine's top combat capabilities were contained. One was almost killed by him, and the other was imprisoned in the burning city. Skills like burning castle are not something that ordinary people can break through. Even if they come out, it will take a certain amount of time. Even the old man Sean himself is locked in and needs the assistance of several captains to send Ichigo out. An unknown person again, who are you? Zephyr was unlucky to face the dreamer this time. If he had faced other people, he might have had a chance of winning, but against the dreamer, he had no chance. His physical strength had begun to decline. It was only a matter of time before Gremmy defeated him. That's all. Gremmy belongs to the Knights of the Invisible Empire Star Cross. Gremmy spoke very few words and did not reveal any more information at all. He just mentioned his name. From the outside, he looked very quiet, but those who knew him well knew that he was actually very violent. A fighting maniac. Gremmy, I've never heard of it. I'm wondering where you came from. I can't find any information about you in the entire sea. It's like you appeared out of thin air. Can you help me clear up my doubts? Quote. Zephyr saw that Gremmy seemed to be a relatively easy-to-talk person, so he asked the doubts he had always had. Although he knew that it was impossible for others to tell him, he might just ask. Our lives are given by His Majesty. How can you guys understand? Stop talking nonsense and start a war. Gremmy still looked at Zephyr with a smile, his hands in his bag and wearing a coat. It's true again. The people in your invisible empire are all led by that boy. How many benefits has that boy given you? Zephyr was helpless. These guys were just following Yang Feng's orders. These are not things you can understand, so come and taste my ability, Object Creation Magma. When the Dreamer's ability was activated, a huge flow of magma appeared inexplicably from the sky and poured down quickly. The sudden appearance of magma reminded Zephyr of Sakazuki, but this guy is still fighting with others. In just a moment of daze, the magma surrounded Zephyr. Even Zephyr himself would not easily touch the magma with his body. He was not Whitebeard. His internal organs were gone and half of his head was missing and he could still fight to the death. 6-style Tempest Kick Crane Wing. 2 huge blue chop waves instantly split the magma in 2, opening a gap, and Zephyr quickly rushed out of the gap. Advertisement. What exactly is your ability? Why do you use Sakazuki's lava fruit ability? Zephyr was very confused. Why did magma suddenly appear? Is it just the red guy? Don't be too self-righteous. You don't understand my ability at all. Object Creation Extremely Cold Ice. This time it was not magma, but huge ice cubes, and the cold air on them made people tremble unconsciously. Is it ice again this time? What exactly is his ability? Once you are prepared, it will be much easier for Zephyr to dodge this kind of thing. You don't need to think too much to avoid it. Object Creation, Boulder. Just as Zephyr dodged the ice, a huge boulder with a length, width and height of over 100 meters fell from the air, slamming it into the earth. Boom. The sound of boulders falling to the ground also attracted the attention of others, and their hearts sank when they saw Zephyr being crushed by the sudden appearance of rocks. You know, Zephyr is much stronger than them here. Boom boom boom. Just when everyone thought that Zephyr might be doomed, a series of huge bombardments came into everyone's ears. Soon the boulder was blasted away, and Zephyr jumped out wearing armament hockey. He had no chance to use the 6 moves just now. He could only barely use armament hockey to wrap himself up, so he probably survived. It must be said that the Dreamer's creation ability is indeed pervert, and it is impossible to prevent it. It's out. Let's try the next trick, life creation. This time Gremmy created other beings, and the strength of these beings were all very strong. Although they were not as strong as Admiral, they were similar to the elite Vice Admiral. Of course, the most important thing was that he created more than a dozen in one go. This is his limit. His body itself is a brain placed in a container. Because his physical body is useless, he uses his brain to maintain it. Advertisement. Once it exceeds his imagination tolerance, he will collapse, just like thinking that he is better than Zaraki Kenpachi, so he collapses. 6 forms, Hockey Superposition, Black Boxing. Zephyr rushed over with his fists raised, and concentrated all his power into a pair of arms. The 2 arms slammed into the lives created by Gremmy, and the 2 lives were immediately exploded. Backquote. Boy, don't be too arrogant, lousy as Black Arm Zephyr. Zephyr charged forward with 2 huge fists like a rhinoceros, but Gremmy didn't care much about it. What a reckless act. Water pressure, sky fire. Seeing Zephyr's behavior, Gremmy said he was reckless, but he was excited inside. He was originally an extremely crazy fighting maniac, so he naturally hoped for this. Along the way, Zephyr was not only attacked by various flames, magma, ice, boulders, etc., but he was able to resolve them one by one. Not even a dozen created beings could stop him. Boy, suffer death. Finally, Zephyr rushed in front of Gremmy and punched him. Ability to create, my body is an illusory folder. Gremmy calmly imagined that he had Hollow's ability, and his body, the Good King's, turned directly into nothingness. Zephyr's fist hit the ground hard, but it did not hit Gremmy. Mi's body penetrated through. Seeing this scene, Zephyr almost went crazy. He swore that he had never seen such a shameless person. He had as many abilities as a dog and couldn't reach them. It was extremely weird. He felt that his knowledge was already rare in the sea, but now it seems that it is simply bullshit. What kind of ability is this? The space here is too narrow. Let's go to my space to fight. Space creation, universe space. Gremmy used space creation and directly pulled Zephyr into the universe. This kind of space creation is much more terrifying than ordinary physical objects and life creation, and it consumes too much. Chapter 164 The Red Dog Dominated by Fear. Please subscribe. Advertisement. After Gremmy pulled his opponent into the fantasy space, the 2 disappeared and entered the fantasy space. Their disappearance could not attract the attention of others, because the others were also locked in a bitter fight at the moment. Kizaru was very cautious when facing his old rival. He knew that both opponents had the characteristics of immortality, so he wanted to find a way to directly destroy Zamas, but Masuko was still there, so he had no chance. He could only get into a tug of war in the air, constantly looking for weaknesses, but this was almost impossible. Unless all James's blood was evaporated, he would still be resurrected. Although Kizaru has this ability, he doesn't know what to do, so it becomes a tug of war. The same goes for Bambietta and Aokiji, one freezes and the other explodes. You blow up the ice I created, and it's another tug of war, almost reaching a deadlock, but there is a bit of a problem on Red Dog's side. I see, you are surrounded by fear, fear has always been around you. As he spoke, many small alls appeared around Not. As long as these alls stabbed the opponent, he would be dominated by fear. No one has been able to have a clear conscience about anything and anyone since they were young. The power of fear bursts out from the inner breath. If you cannot let go, you will definitely be controlled by fear. Little trick, great eruption. The huge magma fist ignored the all and blasted directly towards Not. The all was swallowed by the magma, but at this moment Sakazuki transformed into magma, which means that the magma is his body, and hitting the magma also hit him. I have seen your fear, then accept the punishment of fear. Not said and disappeared from the spot, and the power of fear began to activate. Sakazuki's spirit began to be slowly affected, and he began to become suspicious of the things around him. Sakazuki, give us back our lives. Just as Sakazuki was confused, a voice with a hint of fear came into his ears, and then his eyes shrank because he saw many incomplete corpses, as if people were being burned to death slowly crawling towards himself. Advertisement. Who is this person? You dare to pretend to be a ghost, go to hell. Sakazuki shrank his eyes and blasted them with lava. These guys were soon covered by the lava. Just when Sakazuki was about to laugh at UABBC's death, blood red and charred arms stretched out from the lava. Out. Sakazuki, do you remember us? I was one of the civilians you killed in Ohara. What did I do wrong that you want to kill me? Answer me. Only the original skull head was left, with half of the body still covered with blackened flesh. He came out and shouted loudly towards Akainu. That's right, what did we do wrong? Aren't you Marines supposed to protect us? You trash Marine, how dare you kill us so unreasonably? Give us back our lives, Sakas. And our people in String Village, why do they want to kill us? Akainu Admiral, why do you want to kill us? We are all Marines. A series of denunciations continued in Akainu's heart. Only now did he realize that the people around him were killed by himself, and these people were all innocent people. Among them were civilians from Ohara, civilians from other villages, small places, and even subordinates and comrades who had been sacrificed by him. In short, they all appeared one by one and headed toward his campus. You all deserve to die. You bastards all deserve to die. Lousy insists on justice. You all deserve Lousy to die again for justice. Akainu's spirit was hit hard and he could not control his emotions at all, because these people were indeed killed innocently. He had always been like this. He didn't care about the means to achieve his goals, even if all his own people died. So although Akainu was suffering at this moment, he still strengthened his heart and roared loudly. As his heart became firmer, these people naturally disappeared. After all, it was the guilt and so on that he had accumulated in his heart. Of course, there were very few of them. If Not had such abilities, he would not have been able to find them. Advertisement. It's such twisted justice. Now I really want to know if all of you Marines are like this in their hearts, but it's really pervert that you can come out so quickly. Ha 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 ha. Not couldn't help but burst into laughter. He actually said Marines justice. Justice is bullshit. It's just your personal justice. You must rely on sacrifice to continuously realize your own justice. No, it should be said that it is not justice, but a means that will not give up until the goal is achieved. It can be said that Akainu has lost his qualifications as a human being. The reason why a person is called a human is not only because he has his own thinking ability, but also because of his perceptual cognition. If a murderer kills too many people, everyone will call him a beast. Because the people he killed were all innocent people who should not be killed, what about Akainu? The same is true for him, so he has been completely classified on the side of beasts. It's not that he can't kill, but he kills unnecessary people. What did Ohara civilian ships do to offend him? He kills everyone just to be the dog of the world government. He is a completely bloodthirsty beast. You won't be able to laugh anymore. Dog bark Red Lotus. A huge magma dog condensed by magma appeared in front of Not, exuding a heating aura, and the continuously dripping magma burned through the earth. As His Majesty said, Marine is a symbol of shamelessness. It is true. If you can't talk, you will use force. Even if our invisible empire doesn't take action, I believe that your Marine and the world government will be overthrown soon. Not shook his head and said that no dynasty can remain standing because the people in power change and everyone thinks differently. Marine's previous approach was to block the water, just like in ancient times, and it would break out sooner or later. Stop talking nonsense. You dare to despise our Marine's justice, and die under justice. Akainu is still like this. He talks so much about justice and justice that it makes you sick and makes you want to vomit. Just do what you say. Why do you need to add justice? It completely taints the word. It's not very annoying at first, but when you add the words of justice, it becomes nonsense. Blackbeard is not as annoying as you. It's just because people do what they do and don't make excuses. Chapter 165 Fear Escalates. Please subscribe. Advertisement. Marine Admiral Akainu, your justice has been completely distorted. I will seek justice for the innocent people you killed. Complete holy body explosion, God's cowardice. The covering on Not's mouth, which was still covered, completely disappeared, revealing his very terrifying mouth. A starry halo appeared on his head, and his eyes completely lost their pupils, turning into a terrifying white color, and they continued to bleed. His skinny body was flowing out from all parts of his body. Countless blood and his appearance made everyone present tremble, especially the reporters. They were brought here just for filming, so they naturally paid attention to everyone fighting, but after seeing the changes in Not, they couldn't help but sweat. It was so terrifying that they didn't dare to look at Not at all. One glance felt as if their souls were being whipped, as if countless dead souls were asking for their lives. It could be said to be extremely terrifying. Don't think that Lousy will be afraid of you if this happens. Go to hell for Lousy. The giant dog transformed from magma turned into a red phantom and rushed towards Not, but Not didn't care at all. A divine destruction instantly shattered the magma dog, and then his eyes met Akainu's eyes. Fear, endless fear, I see endless fear in your heart and in your eyes, there are too many, be swallowed up by darkness and fear. Not, who had an extremely terrifying appearance, stared at Akainu and maximized the power of fear, causing Akainu to fall into fear again, and this time the fear was not the same as last time. This time the fear made Akainu despair. It was the same scene as before, even more miserable. Countless dead souls were wailing in his ears, complaining in his ears, and demanding their lives. No matter how loud he shouts, no matter how much he feels that he is innocent, these dead souls will not let him go. Even if he becomes an element, these dead souls can still find his spirit. Attacking with magma, these dead souls will not be harmed at all, and they will continue to pester him in the endless dark space. As time passes, Akainu's spirit has huge problems, and his body outside cannot tolerate it. He couldn't help but kneel down. Not only was he breathing heavily, it could be said that this time his fear was magnified to the limit. Having experienced it just now, his fear had already been raised. This time, his fear was uncontrollable, and it could even be said to have completely exploded. There were too many innocent people killed by him. If not, it would be difficult for Not to deal with him. Advertisement. Although the strong person has fear in his heart, he thinks it is impossible to defeat the strong person just by relying on this. Although he is afraid, the strong person is the strong person, and they can often overcome their fear. Although Akainu looked indifferent, his fear and guilt were suppressed deep in his heart, and he hypnosis himself, making himself think that he did not have such a thing, but unfortunately Not discovered it. Isn't this enough? The warrior is still fragile. In that case, I will give you a big gift, a giant eye wall. The giant eye wall enveloped Akainu, and this time the fear increased again. This in itself was Not's ability, which magnified his fear infinitely, ultimately destroying the enemy's will. Then kill him. Laser. Less than a minute after the giant eye wall was formed, Akainu's eyes started to turn a little white, and he was probably going to collapse soon. At this moment, a golden laser beam shot over, and the giant eye wall was shot. Broken. The pressure on Akainu, who was on the verge of collapse, suddenly dropped, and he was suddenly freed from fear. Even though his combat power was relatively intact at this moment, his spirit was almost completely destroyed, and he could not use his combat experience even in battle. Masco, can't you control this yellow monkey better? Don't let him ruin other people's battles casually. Not was dissatisfied when he saw this scene. What the hell is this? Originally, Akainu was about to collapse, but as a result, this yellow monkey destroyed him. Naturally, he was very unhappy. Don't stand and talk without hurting your back. This B************ D can run faster than a rabbit. Even Lousy can't catch him. Masco was also helpless. Kizaru was just teasing him with his speed, so much so that he couldn't catch Kizaru at all, so he gave Kizaru time to save other people. Zero, please give me flowers. Damn, disgusting ability. If I had known, I would have asked Gremmy to help me create a space just now. It's really unlucky. Advertisement. The grimace-like Not glanced at Akainu and felt as if he had eaten fly excrement. The original feeling of tormenting Akainu was gone, so now he lost interest. Forget it, let's kill this guy. It's an eyesore anyway. Not glanced at Akainu unhappily, and Akainu was immediately startled. He really didn't want to continue the feeling of being entangled by countless dead souls in the endless darkness. He felt that he would definitely die if he continued. God's cowardice, second form. Not's body split from the middle, and countless blood poured out. Then his skin began to split, and an even bigger knot broke away from the body and appeared in front of everyone. Not, you be asterisk 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 D, can't you say hello when you use this trick? It's really disgusting. Bambietta, who was blasting in the sky, exploded when he saw this scene. It is estimated that no one in the Invisible Empire would not hate Not at this moment. It was really disgusting. It's like watching a zombie movie, but it's an enlarged version of the zombies. It makes people sick, and scared. However, Not did not intend to take care of them, but slapped Akainu. At this moment, Akainu was mentally damaged and could not control the elementalization at all. He could only look at the giant hand and wanted to slap it himself. Of course, even if he can become elemental, he will still be photographed, because this affects the soul. Not, spare his life and release his fear completely. I will let him spend the rest of his time in fear. Suddenly, Not received a message from Yang Feng. Yang Feng didn't want Akainu to die so easily. Sometimes death is actually a good relief. He wanted Akainu to live in fear all his life, to make him feel guilty and fearful all his life, to prevent him from being a human being, and to make him suffer all his life. This is a death and horrific punishment. This is also his punishment for Akainu. Don't you like to kill innocent people indiscriminately? Don't you talk about justice? Now you can continue. Chapter 166. White Heat, please subscribe. Advertisement. You did this to Akainu. If this continues, Akainu will collapse sooner or later. Even if it doesn't collapse now, it won't be able to do much in the future. The abilities of these guys are really weird. What Yang Feng said to Not was yelled, which means that everyone heard it, including Akainu himself, but Akainu himself couldn't control this fear. This is Not's ability. Even if you know it, you can't control myself. Garp, go and help Akainu, we'll deal with it here first. In desperation, Sengoku could only look at Garp. Sora was fighting with Yang Feng here. He himself had to find a way to break through the flame cage. Besides, there was also one who was half disabled. Now the one with the strongest mobility was Garp. Sengoku, I told you, I will not bother you about anything about Sakazuki. 510. The world will not stop without a Sakazuki. Marine will not perish because of one Sakazuki. Quote. I have long said that Sakazuki's character is a very important issue. He is not suitable to be an admiral. His character is the same as that of a pirate. We are Marine, for the people, but look at him. Something. Since he became a Marine, he has killed innocent civilians many times more than the pirates he has killed. However, being buried by the Marine again and again will cause problems with his character sooner or later, so I will not save him. Maybe it's his best choice. Garp was originally unhappy with Akainu. In fact, it was very simple. He looked down on Akainu. In his eyes, Akainu was a Marine who did all kinds of evil. What he did was not a Marine at all. Maybe he should join the World Government CP organization. Garp Sengoku had nothing to say about this. After the Ohara incident, Garp almost killed Akainu, but Sengoku stopped him, but he said that he would never ask anything about Akainu from now on, even if he died in front of him. He won't even care. Instead of staring at Sakazuki here, you should think of a way to rescue that guy. His air fruit ability has not been used at all. It is enough to break this prisoner. Garp stared at the flame cage with a serious face. This cage was too difficult to deal with. Even if it was covered with armament, Haki would feel hot and would be burned, if it weren't for the fact that Sengoku's Buddha form has some healing elements. Advertisement. To be honest, Garp can't even deal with this thing. The flames seem to be endless. It's not an easy thing to break through. At this moment, Sora is also being forced to retreat by Yang Feng. No one can withstand the temperature of Rujin Jaka, which is only 6,000 degrees at this moment. Otherwise, when it reaches 15 million degrees Celsius after Bankai, Yang Feng feels that these so-called strong men will die with one strike. Sengoku, you activate your great Buddha form to the strongest level, then cover armament Haki, open a hole in the air, and then try to maintain it while I go in and bring that kid out. Garp didn't expect that Yang Feng's casual swing of the knife just now would cause such a big trouble, but time was running out and he didn't think he and the others could easily deal with Yang Feng. Now any combat power is extremely valuable. I see. The originally 5-meter tall Buddha skyrocketed again, reaching more than 30 meters in height in an instant. The giant Buddha Sengoku, who was exuding golden Buddha light, stood in front of the flame cage and did not hesitate to give in. 0. Armed color, entanglement, Haki blast. Sengoku's eyes widened, and his hands were quickly wrapped in black armor, turning his skin into a dark golden color. He clapped his hands forward, and immediately broke a hole in the flame wall. That's it now, armed color, double entanglement, gasification layer. As if wearing a piece of armor, Garp rushed in quickly, and immediately found Chi, who was surrounded by Vice Admiral. At this moment, Chi was helpless, and no matter what tricks he used, he could not escape from this cage. He tried to rush out from the hole in the sky, but he was beaten back by countless fire dragons every time. As time went by, almost all the air inside was burned out. At this moment, he could only rely on the fruit ability to survive. Brush. When Garp came in front of Chi, he didn't even give him time to react. He grabbed Chi and rushed out. Chi was confused at this moment, and the speed was too fast. He couldn't react at all, even though his strength was inferior to Garp's. Not much. But the biggest problem is that Garp is completely physical, and they are just demon fruit power, so they can't keep up with Garp's speed. Advertisement. Garp, hurry up, I can't hold on anymore. There was a roaring sound from Sengoku outside. In order to prevent the hole from disappearing, he forcibly stuck his arm in the hole, but as a result, he was besieged by the flames. At this moment, even the armed color was gone. Redness. Damn it, Conqueror's Haki, give me a blast. An invisible and overbearing aura spread, and a huge pressure caused the flames in the entire flame cage to freeze, and the sky seemed to be torn apart by the huge power. Garp's Conqueror's Haki broke through the flames as if it were real and rushed out with anger. Did you rush out? I didn't expect that Conqueror's Haki could be used like this. He actually used Conqueror's Haki to attack the flames. Even Rujin Jaka would inevitably lose his mind when facing such an impact. I have to say that the Conquerors in this world are indeed easy to use, but they are similar to Reiatsu, except that this thing is a little more abrupt. As a way to scare them, the Quincy has its own way. As expected of Garp, he was able to think of such a method. Now it's 1-on-5. Boy, no matter how strong you are, you can't withstand 1-on-5. Kong said with a slight smile. He finally found his confidence again. It's ridiculous. The three of you fought hard to get out of my casual 3.9 move. Moreover, one of the five of you is disabled. One of you consumes a lot of energy. The other two are not much better. Such a lineup can't be expected. Deal with me. Yang Feng laughed on the spot. This guy Kong really has a hard time with his head. Such a terrifying flame keeps burning. Who can deal with him? Even Akainu's magma is only over 1,000 degrees. Boy, you are too arrogant. You will have to pay the price for underestimating others. Kong's face also darkened. He realized that Yang Feng was being shameless, so he felt like hitting him hard in the face, but he didn't notice one thing, that is, they also underestimated Yang Feng. Chapter 167. Lightning and Flint open black lens bracket. Please subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertisement. Thank you so much for taking care of me just now. Then try my air cannons, endless empty bombs. The air in the surrounding sky is compressed into cannonballs. The power of these cannonballs is very huge, because you condense the air, just like the impact of a big bear's paw. It is a very terrifying existence. She was imprisoned by him in the burning city just now and was finally rescued. In order to avenge an arrow, he naturally did not waste any money. Wait a minute, such a bomb can't reach him and will be burned by the flames. So add my breath of destruction into it. I can control my breath of destruction to erode his flames. Although Mie became disabled, he could still continue to fight. The gray-black aura of destruction was injected into the many air bombs from his intact hand and flew towards Yang Feng. Of course, these actions were all done in front of others, and Yang Feng naturally knew what they were, but what made him most helpless was these destructive auras. Compared with Chi's ability, Mie's ability is still too cumbersome. This is why 01 Yang Feng chopped Mie down for the first time. His power can actually corrode Rujin Jaka's flame, so the flame is not necessarily invincible. Everything has its own conclusion. If the aura of destruction created by the ability of the destruction fruit of destruction were not too limited by humans, it would probably be invincible. This is specifically for my flames, but don't forget that I am still a Quincy, holy destruction, endless mode. Countless blue spirit arrows appeared in the sky above Yang Feng. This scene was very much like a golden trick, but these arrows were all blue. Swish, swish, swish. Before a few people could react, countless arrows fell like a downpour, and the empty bombs were exploded by divine destruction before they were launched. Yang Feng didn't think he would fail in a battle with numbers. Yang Feng's move is modeled after Stark's infinite reloading mode. The purpose is to win by quantity. As soon as the arrow hits the target, it is victory. Play until you die. No, Hockey Blast. Sengoku felt frightened when he saw this scene. The huge body appeared again. Hockey carried the shock wave to form a huge wave wall, which blocked many arrows. However, there were too many endless arrows, and even he can't block too much. Coupled with the mixed attacks of Ki and Annihilation, instantly put a lot of pressure on Sengoku. You guys go first. My fruit power has some healing capabilities. As long as the damage is not too big, it can be recovered in a short time. Hurry up and leave. Advertisement. The reason why Sengoku did this was not to block the endless arrows, but to give others time to escape. Quote. The other four people left instantly with shaves. When Sengoku saw this scene, he slowly backed away, retreated to the edge of the arrows, directly removed the defensive wave cover and rushed out, but even so, he was still hit by several arrows in his legs. Good cooperation, but Sengoku, is it interesting that you keep looking for opportunities for them? In my opinion, your attacks are extremely weak, and you are just doing useless things. Match. Quote. Yang Feng said funny. Don't be fooled by this little b*********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** attackers. As for Sengoku, you should take a rest first. These injuries are not trivial. Your demon fruit power is not suitable for fighting with him. Play close combat. After analyzing it, Sora said that both he and Garp were purely physical cultivators. Their bodies could be said to be superhuman, while Chi and Mie had demon fruit power, so they could sneak attack from the side. After saying that, Kong didn't wait for everyone's reaction and rushed over first, as did Garp. As the two approached Yang Feng, they became entangled with armament hockey, one dark red and the other crimson. Yang Feng was also helpless. The armament hockey in this world was almost ruined by them. It was originally dark, but after the emergence of the Doji Entanglement Stalker, he discovered that these people who have cultivated hockey to the top can actually perform secondary entanglement. And each has its own characteristics. Armament hockey has changed color, just like one of the two is red and the other is dark red at the moment, and Zephyr's purple-black color. I have to say it is really pervert. Rujin Jaka. With a slash, a huge flame/wave came over. It's my turn to take action and destroy the spiral cone. A cone-shaped aura of destruction continuously rotated and rushed in front of Sengoku and Garp, forcibly cutting Yang Feng's flame/slash in half. Armed color Kong. Armed color Iron Fist. Advertisement. Two fists instantly struck in front of Yang Feng. Yang Feng blocked Rujin Jaka in front of him, and their fists hit Yang Feng's Rujin Jaka hard. Brush. The huge force directly blew Yang Feng away, and even he himself was a little unable to stop his body from flying upside down, which showed that the two of them were much stronger. Great Holy Bow. In desperation, Yang Feng used the Great Holy Bow, and a huge bow and arrow appeared in the sky, even as big as half an island, and Yang Feng directly transformed into an arrow at this moment. The huge force led him to pull the bow string to a wide arc. Taste your own power. The great holy bow was launched in an instant, and several arrows of level 427 were suddenly shot out. One of them was Yang Feng himself. Only Yhwach could do it by turning himself into an arrow. Yang Feng was also the one at this moment. Very good use of this skill. Bang bang. All this happened in a flash of lightning. After several huge arrows hit the two of them, they did not suffer much damage. After all, they were superhuman beings. Rujin Jaka, Fuzan. While moving at high speed, Yang Feng used Rujin Jaka and slashed it with one blow. Huge knife marks appeared on Kong's chest. Even if it was entangled with the weapon color twice, so what? He was still killed by Yang Feng. Boom. Garp pulled Sora and fell to the ground uncontrollably, creating a huge hole in the ground. At this moment, Sora could no longer hold on. He was half kneeling on the ground, blood was flowing from the huge knife marks on his body, sweat was dripping from his forehead, there was almost no good cloth on his body, and Garp was not much better, he was also a bit badly beaten this time. The battle was so fast, I couldn't get involved at all. Everything was completed in a blink of an eye. How did this guy practice? She asked with a frightened look, come too soon, everything before happened in an instant. Chapter 168 Omniscient and Omnipotent. Please subscribe. Advertisement. Sora, Garp, Sengoku, and those two sidekicks, you are basically all injured now, but you haven't brought any harm to me. Do you still think you can win? Yang Feng said nonchalantly, except that the punch from the two of them just made his arm a little numb, he really wasn't injured at all, and he hadn't used all his strength yet. Only now did he realize that Yhwach's power was how terrifying. Mixed, how are you going to deal with him? No matter what kind of attack it is, it's basically useless, and the power of that knife is incredible. Have you noticed that his flames come from the knife? Sengoku, who had about the same injuries on his feet, had already arrived in front of Sora and gave him simple treatment. He could only treat some minor injuries, but there was nothing he could do about the larger ones, but he could stop the bleeding. He has been observing Yang Feng, and now he has discovered the pattern of the appearance of flames. Every time the flames appear, they come out of Rujin Jaka, which means that the flames are all inside the sword. That knife, could it be that the legendary weapon ate the devil fruit? But even so, it shouldn't have such a terrifying temperature. Garp asked with a cold sweat on his face, Mara fruit does exist. The big thing is that the temperature of its flames has not even reached the level of Akainu. It is completely ordinary fire, so he is also very confused whether he ate the fruit or not. Knife. Have you discovered it? But it's not completely despairing yet. In this case, I will play with you and let you know what true despair is. A glint flashed in Yang Feng's eyes, and then he took Rujin Jaka back behind him, seemingly wanting to stop fighting. What does this mean? Does he think he can't use that knife against us? Kong's face suddenly changed, turning red and blue. On the one hand, he felt ashamed that 5 people couldn't take down a child together. On the other hand, he felt angry that he dared to look down on himself and others. Come on, let me see what else you are capable of. No matter what moves you make, I will immerse you into the abyss of despair this time. As he spoke, Yang Feng closed his eyes, as if he didn't look down on them at all, but this was not the case. He was just activating his omniscience and omnipotence at the moment. Omniscience and omnipotence were the real despair. Air pressure cannon. The anger condensed into a huge empty bomb. This time the empty bomb was larger than any before, even more than 50 meters in diameter. A huge transparent sphere quickly blasted towards Yang Feng. Advertisement. Go to hell, this is my strongest move, I can destroy even a small island. He shouted with a ferocious expression, as if Yang Feng was already dead at this moment, but he seemed to have forgotten a very important thing, that is, they were still on the island, and this move was not to kill everyone. Idiot, take it back quickly. No, kill it, kill that blank bullet for me. Kong said with a frightened look on his face, this is just a pig teammate. They have no common sense or experience in combat. Don't think it will be funny if they are not dead but you are dead. The next day, someone from the newspaper published a news that World Government Commander-in-Chief Sora, Marine Marshal Sengoku, and Hero Vice Admiral Garp died in the hands of their own people. This is called the shame of shame. No, the speed is too fast, it can't be reached at all. Mie originally planned to block it, but his speed was too fast, and he was stunned, so he couldn't catch up. Sora's eyes were so wide that they were bleeding, and he looked at the huge empty bullets with a look of shock and anger. He had no other choice but to activate the few haki to cover his whole body. In fact, people who practice armament haki rarely cover their whole body because haki is consumed too quickly, and now they not only cover it, but also use double entanglement, which is a huge consumption. Disappear. Yang Feng opened his eyes suddenly, and the blank bullets in the stage disappeared completely with just one sentence, as if they had never appeared before. Everyone was stunned. Everyone who saw this scene was stunned. Everyone was wondering where such a big thing had gone. As for whether it was fake, no one went back to doubt it. But the empty bullets are indeed gone, just like soap bubbles. What's going on? Where's the cannon that's angry with you? Advertisement. Mie asked with a confused look on his face. At this moment, his anger could no longer be restored. The blank bullets he had used with all his strength just disappeared. He himself was extremely puzzled. He even doubted whether he had lost the dumb bombs, but his physical strength was drained from the Emperor. No, look at his eyes, what is going on? Sengoku kept staring at Yang Feng, and soon he discovered that something was wrong with Yang Feng. After a closer look, he found that the previous pupils in Yang Feng's eyes had disappeared. Now there were at least 4 or 5 pupils in one eye, up and down. Next, it looks very scary. What kind of eyes are these? Could it be that the disappearance of the air bomb just now was because of these eyes? How is it possible? After seeing these strange eyes, everyone was stunned and looked at Yang Feng in confusion. Have your majesty's eyes been opened? That means the war is over. After Bambietta felt Yang Feng's change, he immediately stopped his offensive movements, flew into the sky, said something that Aokiji was confused about, and then flew towards the sky where Yang Feng was. Eyes open. What the hell is going on? Seeing Bambietta leaving the battlefield, Aokiji didn't dare to stay too much, and immediately rushed in this direction, as did everyone else. The Quincy saw and felt the omniscient and omnipotent aura of Li Lihao one by one. The opponent who gave up flew directly into the sky to attack. What's going on with these guys? Why did they leave so suddenly? The pressure on the people who had been locked in a hard battle suddenly relaxed, but they did not dare to relax too much. There was still a very difficult battle over there. Everyone ceased fighting. All the people on the Quincy side returned to Yang Feng, and the people on the Marine side had also gathered. One side of the two sides was standing in the sky, high-spirited, while the other side was standing on the earth, in a state of embarrassment. This scene happened to be secretly photographed by reporters. After all, there were Marines nearby, so they could only secretly photograph it. Marines, His Majesty has opened his omniscient and omnipotent eyes. There is no need to continue the war. Gerald said proudly, but he was right, there is no need to continue the war, because the next step will be a unilateral crushing. Chapter 169 The Future. Please subscribe. Advertisement. Omniscient and omnipotent. What is it? After everyone gathered together, Sengoku and others looked confused. They didn't know what the so-called omniscient and omnipotent eye actually meant, but they knew that this thing would not be simple. After all, people from the Invisible Empire had gathered. In his eyes, these people are all strong people. As the leader, Yang Feng naturally needs to be a super strong person, so what is praised by these people must not be something simple. What is it? Let me try it, the 8-foot Magatama. Kizaru thought he was fast, so he stood up first and threw a big move. Countless light bombs were fired at the Invisible Empire, but it was of no use. All the light bullets did not hit the people of the Invisible Empire, some just passed by, while others disappeared completely, disappearing as they flew, disappeared without a trace like the cannons before Hechi. What kind of ability is this? It's so weird, it actually destroyed all these light bullets, and it didn't move at all. Sora also stared at the sky with a puzzled look. Although he was seriously injured at the moment, it did not mean that he had no ability to think. Marines, all your actions are already in my eyes, and your body will be invisible in front of me, so please welcome the real despair of 717. Yang Feng said with confidence. After opening the omniscient eye, he saw countless strange things. For example, the old man Sengoku planned to use Haki Shock Wave to test himself. Kizaru's light bombs were completely eliminated by him before. Just like Yhwach cut off Kurosaki Ichigo's sword in the future, he also eliminated these light bombs in the future, so these things are gone now. Haki Shockwave. Sure enough, the next moment Sengoku's golden shock wave was in front of him, and Yang Feng directly erased it in the future, so it had lost the future, and Haki's shock wave disappeared without a trace. Sengoku, put your little thoughts away, and Aokiji behind you, don't think that I don't know that you plan to make a sneak attack. I have said that any of your actions will be noticed by me. Advertisement. Yang Feng spread his arms, and he suddenly felt that the reason why Yhwach was like that was probably because of these eyes. It is indeed a very good ability to see the future, and even change the future, which is heaven-defying. How does this guy know that I'm going to sneak attack him? Does he have eyes in his back? He didn't use observation Haki either. At this moment, Aokiji also had a look of shock on his face. He didn't realize how Yang Feng discovered him. He had obviously come very quietly, but he was still discovered. 10 minutes later, all Marines were helpless. There is no solution, very no solution. Everyone on the world government side is extremely confused. In 10 minutes, they made countless exploratory attacks, but they were all discovered. And all of them have been invisibly cracked. His ability is very strange. He can detect anything, and he can neutralize any attacks one by one. But we only used energy attacks before, so next time Garp, you'll be on your way. Both he and Sengoku looked helpless. After 10 minutes of testing, they still didn't know how the other party did it. They suddenly felt that they had failed. I understand, then it's my turn to take on the weapon color and entanglement. Armament Haki condensed on Garp's fist, and he rushed forward on Moonwalk. His fist hit Yang Feng directly, while the other people from the Invisible Empire remained motionless. The next moment, Yang Feng disappeared from the spot and appeared in front of Garp. He punched out, but it originally missed, but soon Garp was horrified to find that his body automatically moved forward due to inertia. A punch hit Garp hard on the stomach, knocking Garp out of the air. During the fall, Garp was still confused as to why he knew he would rush to that position. To be honest, Garp didn't believe in luck at all. The battle between their strong men was changing rapidly. It was very difficult and almost impossible to completely predict the trajectory of his attack. As a result, his common sense was broken this time, and he even knew that he couldn't control his speed and crashed straight into it. Advertisement. Garp was very puzzled and dissatisfied with this. He didn't believe it and rushed up again before he landed on the ground. After that, Garp started to get violent. But no matter how he attacked, Yong Feng could wait for him on his trajectory every time, and he was hit by Yong Feng every time. On the contrary, he never hit Yong Feng. How is it possible? Garp was crushed and didn't even hit the opponent. A trace of panic flashed in the eyes of Sengoku and Sora. They didn't know the reason. Even when they saw Garp being pressed and beaten, they didn't have the strength to fight back. You've had enough fun, come down here. Yong Feng kicked Garp and kicked him back. This time, Garp did not get up. He had already consumed a lot of energy before, but now he was caught by this attack and was unable to fight anymore. Of course, the most important thing is that his heart has collapsed, and he doesn't know what happened. Marine, listen up, I am the Emperor of the Invisible Empire Yang Feng. I said, I will let you experience true despair. Everyone has the holy text. Every main member of the Invisible Empire has this ability. And my. At this point, Yang Feng paused for a moment, while the Marines below looked curious, and they were all anxious to death. My holy text is omniscient and omnipotent. I can see the future, see all the future. Garp, every move you make is already in my eyes, and I have seen every trajectory of your attack. I have seen the future. I have already seen your actions before you take action. You have no chance of winning against me. Yang Feng raised the corner of his mouth as he spoke, and at this moment, everyone in Marine was already gasping for air. Seeing the future, there is still such a G ability. At this moment, Sengoku, Kong and others were as if they had eaten flies, their faces were extremely ugly. Only then did they realize that their idea was wrong. How could Yang Feng, the emperor, not have half civilians? They know that the holy words represent the abilities of everyone in the Invisible Empire, and they also know his holy words now. They are omniscient and omnipotent, with completely incomprehensible abilities. They can see the future and see through your attacks. Do you still want to fight him? Opportunity. Chapter 170. Giving in again, please subscribe. Advertisement. If what this kid said is true, then there is no need to continue. There is no way to fight him. Moreover, he seems to have hidden a piece of information. He didn't say how the previous attacks disappeared. He said with a helpless expression. She originally thought she could analyze Yang Feng's ability clearly before attacking, but now it seems that everything is in vain and she can't continue to fight. The ability is too incomprehensible. Indeed, if this were the case, there would be no need to continue attacking, and the world government would not even be able to fight them, unless the entire world government exposes its trump card, but this is unrealistic. Sora knows the character of the five elders. Unless they fight Mariajoy, world government will not expose all its trump cards. Even if Yang Feng continues to become stronger at this moment, they will give in. This time is probably the last time that the world government takes the initiative to attack. Next is the development of Yang Feng and others. In the end, Yang Feng and others will be the attackers, attacking Mariajoy. Now it has become an offensive and defensive battle. Every time the world government attacks, the Invisible Empire has blocked it. But the question is, can the world government block the attacks of the Invisible Empire? This was their last attack, but this time the attack was blocked effortlessly. Next, the world government will have a headache. It's over. This time the world government has become on the defensive side, but this time it's good news for us. Even the world government can't interfere with this report. A veteran reporter has clearly seen the situation. This time, the Invisible Empire has won, so the world government will not dare to interfere too much with the Invisible Empire. Otherwise, it will cause the Invisible Empire to counterattack, and then the world government will naturally be in danger. They don't attack Mariajoy, but they can take away the other countries under your control, right? Even if Marine is destroyed, they can't do much to react. This is the disadvantage of this failure. Damn it, I didn't expect that this would happen. There is no news at all about what this guy's abilities are and where he came from. This time it is true. In desperation, Sora could only declare surrender, otherwise it would be right to kill him and others, and he did not want his subordinates to die here. Quickly, sort out all the information about the Invisible Empire, then send it back to the headquarters and start printing newspapers immediately. Kong announced his surrender, and many reporters even ran away with the press release regardless of the issue of compensation. Only a small number of them were still paying attention to other compensation and other information. Advertisement. Song, as the world commander, you should be able to negotiate the compensation issue, so let's discuss the compensation issue now. Yang Feng stared at Sora with unusually weird pupils. Seeing these eyes, Sora felt that his heart was completely seen through. He was very helpless. Don't the other party know his bottom line with his eyes open? You'd better talk to the five elders, I'm not qualified. After being stunned for a long time, Kong finally choked out something like this. He had no privacy at all in front of others, and he was still playing tricks. He might as well leave this hole for the five elders to discuss. Five elders. That's fine, then give me the phone bug. The corner of Yang Feng's mouth curled up. Kong's move was really damaging. The five elders were hit by it, and he retreated to the back. After all, in Yang Feng's eyes, there was no privacy at all. The future would be seen. There is no way to continue. Bala bala. Bala bala. The phone worm was slowly connected, and at this moment the phone worm's beard also turned golden. One look at Yang Feng and he knew that this guy was the blonde one. Only his beard and hair were blonde. Yang Feng, the leader of the Invisible Empire. There was a deep voice among the phone worms. Judging from the expression and voice, the person on the other side was obviously not in a good mood. 5 elders, this is my first time talking to you, so let's start discussing the issue of compensation directly. As the defeated party, you should know what to do. Yang Feng said with a smile. The future he saw was the real future, which meant that no matter whether he was a phone bug or not, there was only one outcome, and that was to be easily and completely surrendered to him. Of course I know it, so what do you want? 0 Please give me flowers. Advertisement. The blonde 5 elders said with an angry look. The reason why he was angry was not because Marine failed, but because Yang Feng didn't give him face. He had to compliment him no matter what, but Yang Feng didn't care about him at all. It's very simple. Marine gave me trouble once before. First defeated Marine that time. Marine promised to give me 30 devil fruit within 3 years. I have not forgotten this. But this time Marine is here again. Can I understand that the terms negotiated with Marine are all in vain? If this is the case, I have to pay for what I want immediately. Yang Feng said with an unhappy look on his face. Marine had promised to compensate before, but the compensation period came again, so he was very unhappy. He was wondering whether he should pay directly. 0. But the problem came again. He had plundered everything including the world government. Not a single devil fruit was spared. Even the red stones were moved away. By the way, he also took away a treasure house of gold and silver jewelry. No shortage of money. Now even the world government doesn't have devil fruit anymore. What happened before was considered a mistake by me and others, but this time you have seen that this is the last attack, and the sea will have a place for you next, so you don't need to worry at all. The blonde 5 elders said helplessly, now is not the time to start a war with the invisible empire. That's true. It's so valuable. I want twice the reward that Marine promised me, which is 60 devil fruits. In addition, I will cede the land. From now on, East Blue and West Blue will be mine. Marine must abide by the laws of our invisible empire. Yang Feng's first condition is very easy to accept, isn't it just 60? It's easy to get. Are there any quality regulations? Zone's devil fruit is not valuable in the first place, they just buy it. But the problem arises with East Blue and West Blue. This is a ceded territory between the two sea areas, which is too big. Kid, you are too pushy. How could you just leave the East Blue and West Blue waters to you? The blonde 5 elders roared with an ugly look on his face, but it was of no use at all. Yang Feng didn't want this job at all. Chapter 171 Super Big Earthquake. Please subscribe. Advertisement. Do you have a choice? Don't forget that your world government is the defeated party this time. As the defeated party, you have no qualifications to negotiate terms. This is a notice and not a discussion with you. Besides, all I want is West Blue and East Blue. I've already given you face. If I want the first half of the Grand Line and part of the New World, you can't refuse. Don't be shameless. Yang Feng doesn't care about him at all. You are the 5 elders, right, the highest authority in the world government, but what does it have to do with Lousy? Aren't you just a mere world government? When Lousy develops the invisible empire, you will be a pile of rubbish. You be asterisk 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 D brat, you actually threatened me like this. I'll take note of it this time. I'm waiting for the next confrontation with you. I hope you won't cry then. The blonde 5 elders hung up the phone directly after saying, 210. They were helpless. As for the two sea areas, despite his look of pain, they were all staged. To put it bluntly, West Blue and East Blue are two sea areas, but they are the most rubbish sea areas. The talents come from the first half of the Grand Line and New World. If what Yang Feng wants today is the New World and the first half of the Grand Line, 5 elders will probably explode. After all, what really comes before is the first half of the Grand Line and the New World. Of course, this is just compensation for ceding territory, which means that he does not need to fight these two sea areas at all. He has already obtained them. As for the other areas, he can fight them by himself. After all, the compensation for ceding territory is compensation. But attacking is not the same thing. He can just attack the others and be done with it. As for why it is East Blue and West Blue, it is actually very simple. East Blue is where he came out. As for West Blue, it's just a bonus. Moreover, East Blue has a lot of good seeds, and there is nothing you can do if he collects them for you in advance, right? After this battle, the Invisible Empire has become one of the largest forces in the sea, and the other one is the world government. No other organization can match. After negotiating the terms, Yang Feng naturally left with everyone. There was no need to continue here. Advertisement. I really didn't expect this kid to have conquered such a large territory in such a short period of time. I think we will be sad next. The world government and Marine are really embarrassed this time. Garp shook his head helplessly. It was a foregone conclusion that they could no longer make other decisions, and this was all the 5 elders' own decision. However, Garp was most helpless because his hometown was in East Blue. A strong guy like him will probably be monitored all the time when he joins East Blue, but there is no way, unless he retires improperly as a Marine, he might not be monitored. Who says it isn't? Now let's think about how to restore the reputation of Marine and world government. Sengoku said with a headache. As the marshal he must make a decision. Stop daydreaming, Sengoku, it has become a foregone conclusion. The reason why we were able to restore our reputation in the past was entirely because our opponents were not as strong as us, but this time they have completely surpassed us, and our small moves are naturally useless. He shook his head and said that she no longer thought about this problem. There was nothing to be done this time. If she forced an explanation, it might cause agitation and cause more serious damage to the reputation of Marine and world government. Damn it, even though I know it's useless, I still keep thinking about it. It seems I'm used to it, but this time I really have no choice. Let the 5 elders and Commander Kong worry about it. Sengoku also shook his head helplessly, and forced everything out of his mind, and stopped thinking about it. The news of the defeat of the world government spread to all the major forces in an instant. Due to excessive economic reasons, the major newspapers could not wait until the next day and directly spread the news everywhere. But this time, the image of Marine and world government completely collapsed. The invincible existence was defeated, and all major forces had their own reactions. Whitebeard doesn't care about this. Although he is still shocked, he is Whitebeard and there is no need to care about this. Kaido is targeting the Invisible Empire. Advertisement. He likes to commit suicide. This time, the target of suicide is naturally the Invisible Empire. Sherlock Linlin is even more ridiculous. He directly takes General Xing to Dressrosa. It is said that he wants to find Yang Feng and others for marriage, but to be honest, her side there are really not many normal people. The better one is the 3-eyed girl and one of the generals, but one has a heart like a snake and the other is tall and big, so there is nothing he can do about it, so Yang Feng simply doesn't like Sherlock Linlin and lets Sherlock Linlin develop his power with the help of the Invisible Empire. When I put it down, it immediately collapsed zero. But Sherlock and Linlin didn't dare to say anything. This was an existence that even the world government could defeat. If she dared to say anything, Cake Island would probably be gone next time. But she and Whitebeard still had some friction. She didn't want to use money to buy food. Everything she ate was stolen. Even the things from the Fishmen Island she felt should belong to her, but with the protective layer of the Invisible Empire, she had no choice. She can't offend the Invisible Empire, but she can offend Whitebeard. After Whitebeard gets older, her chance will naturally come. Neptune, on the other hand, will wake up laughing in the middle of the night. Now let's see who else dares come to the Fishmen Island to be wild. At the same time, the news spread throughout the first half of the Grand Line and the New World. In the first half of the Grand Line, above the abandoned Sky Island, several huge islands are suspended in the air, which looks more spectacular than the Baiyun Sky Island. Invisible Empire. I thought it was just a small fight among juniors, but I didn't expect it to develop to such an extent in a short period of time. This is something neither Roger nor I have been able to achieve. 1. Golden Lion couldn't help but squint his eyes when he read the newspaper. He realized that he still failed, not as good as the 4.2 generation. It just so happens that Lousy is also planning to find a partner, so let's go check out this guy's place. Let's get going. Kids, let's head to New World. Golden Lion shouted loudly, and everyone moved, but at this moment, his feet had turned into 2 knives. I have to say that this guy is a ruthless person. He actually cut off his own feet and then used the fruit the ability comes out. A strong man actually sacrificed his own legs. What kind of consciousness can he do? But to put it bluntly, his time has passed. In the original work, he was kicked to pieces by Luffy, an existence that surpassed 4 emperors. Being destroyed by a junior like this, he probably wouldn't have the face to continue wandering around in the sea. Of course this is something for later, but this time he went to find Yang Feng and he didn't know whether it was bad or good. Chapter 172 The Revolutionary Army comes to the door. Please subscribe. Advertisement. I didn't expect these guys to actually block the world government's attack. Even our revolutionary army can't stop such a lineup. It seems that the Invisible Empire has become a superpower. Helpless. Dialogue. At this moment, it seems that dragon is dialogue in Japanese pronunciation. They are all the same as helpless. There was a chance when he was weak before, but now it seems that there is no chance at all. Chief, do you still want to communicate with the Invisible Empire now? It seems that there is no need for it. Da Shang looked at Dorag and asked doubtfully. They did not seize the opportunity when the Invisible Empire was relatively weak before, but this time it was different. Their strength had been surpassed by the Invisible Empire, which meant that they were at a disadvantage. Da Shang doesn't think that an organization with extraordinary strength will join another organization. This is simply impossible. After all, no one is stupid. No matter what, I will not let it go as long as there is still a little chance. Our goal is world government, and their goal is world government, so we have a common enemy. In this case, cooperation may not be a problem. Dorag shook his head and said that he didn't want to go back. Moreover, they had already boarded Dressrosa, so they had no intention of leaving at all. How could they not see each other when they reached the door? Da Shang shook his head helplessly at Dolig's persistence. He was not the kind of person who talked a lot, and he talked too much this time, but it was all for Dolig's good, not harm to him. Soon, Dorag brought the helpless big bear to the outside of the palace. The people guarding the gate were not surprised by their identities. The great pirate Sherlock Linlin had come here once before. There was an endless stream of big shots. They naturally, I won't be surprised. Even if the people coming now are from the Revolutionary Army, and the Revolutionary Army is in its infancy and has not yet fully grown up, it is not famous at all. Most people do not even know that such an organization exists. People from the Revolutionary Army. They have strange tattoos on their faces. The other one is a big pirate bear. He must be one. Let them in. Yang Feng was in the palace thinking about what to do next. He didn't expect that the Revolutionary Army would come to the door at this time. At least he wouldn't have come from Dorag's point of view, because there was no way. Reality. Advertisement. Emperor Yang Feng of the Invisible Empire, I am Monkey D. Dorag, leader of the Revolutionary Army. Nice to meet you. After Dorag came in, he greeted politely. Just state your purpose directly, don't beat around the bush. Yang Feng is too lazy to beat around the bush with them. The so-called beating around the bush is just a way to seek benefits. To put it simply, it means to praise you first and make you happy, and then put forward his own requirements or opinions at the appropriate time. Generally speaking, this method is very useful, at least for most people. Compliments can achieve good benefits, but he is Yang Feng, not those people, and the last thing he wants to do is listen to politicians. In that case, let me get to the point. I am here to unite the Revolutionary Army and the Invisible Empire to deal with the world government. Dorag expressed his thoughts, but it was not realistic at all. Does Yang Feng need his help to deal with the world government? Not at all. After the people from the Invisible Empire are gathered, they can start a major counterattack. However, this process is also a very cumbersome process. So far, the number of people he has summoned is limited, including Barrow, Bambietta, Masco, James, Gerard, Gremmy, and Not. It's very few. But the demand for devil fruit is constantly increasing. When Not and the others came, they consumed 5 and 6. What happened after that? One person only consumed 20 or 30. He simply couldn't gather everyone in a short time. Moreover, the Invisible Empire has just begun to develop. It needs territory and a consolidated political power. He plans to create his own empire in the next countries he conquers and sink the ice palace into the shadow of the building, but this project is very huge. It takes too long, and powerful people keep coming to visit, so he has very little time. He is busy almost all the time, and he has to plan for the future. It is simply helpless. The Invisible Empire is the Invisible Empire, and the Revolutionary Army is the Revolutionary Army. From the beginning, we and the Invisible Empire have been hostile to you. Your purpose is to overthrow the world government and establish a new regime. But mine is the same, to create a new regime. Advertisement. So we were on hostile sides from the beginning. As for world government, I can handle it myself, so you should please come back. I'll let you go this time, but I won't be merciful the next time we meet. Yang Feng's eyes were fixed on Delog, who was startled for a while as he stared at him, as if he was a transparent person in front of Yang Feng. He was very puzzled. How did such a little kid grow up and become so mature and kind? Decisive. There is no other way, so let's leave first, but I still hope you can consider it. Our purpose is actually the same. After saying that, the dragon left the palace with the big bear. This time it was considered that he returned without success. Same. How could 290 be the same? Our goals have been completely different from the beginning. Mine is devil fruit, and your revolutionary army is to establish a new political power. They are basically two goals. Yang Feng shook his head speechlessly. He had also thought about making a deal with the revolutionary army before. After all, the source of the devil fruit was a big problem. If Brother Ming died, the artificial devil fruit could only be handed over to Kaido. Don't think this guy is just a joke, but not all of his people are idiots. Although they are reckless, they have good abilities. I guess he will think about doing this project by himself. He thought about devil fruit for the revolutionary army, but rejected it directly. It is estimated that there will not be much. After all, the revolutionary army is in a new state and naturally needs devil fruit if it wants to develop. So they probably found someone to eat it as soon as they got it. There would be no leftovers at all. Even the people he traded with the revolutionary army would not agree to it because there was no need for it. Almost everyone who should come has arrived, so the next stop will be Zhou. A flash of light flashed in Yang Feng's eyes. Apart from a red stone, Zhuowu was the elephant owner, which made him very curious. What did this guy eat to grow so big? This is not a captive world of gourmet food. How did it become like this? Chapter 173. The Giant Zhou Elephant. Please subscribe. Advertisement. Brother Yang Feng, does such a big elephant really exist in this world? On the warship, Sugar asked innocently. She was still young and could not imagine how big such a huge elephant was, but to be honest, few people would believe it unless they saw it with their own eyes. Of course, Yang Feng also thought about a problem very maliciously, that is, if Granu uses his childlike fruit ability to touch the giant elephant, then. Thinking of this, he didn't dare to continue thinking about it. The elephant owner was huge, and there were fur tribes living on it. A country was built on the elephant owner's back. You can imagine how big this thing is. I don't really believe in building a country on the back of an elephant. How big is this elephant? Robin and Monet couldn't imagine it, and even everyone in the Invisible Empire was the same. To be honest, if he hadn't watched the anime, Yang Feng himself wouldn't have believed that such a thing existed. To be honest, Jack the Drow in the original book was kicked in the head by a donkey hoof, and he even risked his life to challenge the elephant owner. As a result, he first ignored you, and then when you went too far, he knocked you over with a nose. It's really I don't know where the courage comes from. Zhou Island is said to be a giant elephant that has lived for thousands of years. On its back is a country built by fur tribes who hate humans. But the second red stone is on it, so our target is that red stone. By the way, Robin, have you interpreted the red stone from before? Suddenly, Yang Feng remembered that she still had a piece, which she got from world government, and now it was handed over to her for interpretation. After all, besides the people from world government, she was probably the only one in the world who knew ancient Chinese. The interpretation is almost complete, but it is incomplete. The stone tablet is a coordinate. It is said that the coordinates formed by the 4 red stones can be used to find Lafrit at the intersection, so even if the first piece is interpreted, there is no way. Robin shook her head and said that she had tried her best to calculate, but the interpretation and calculation only gave her one coordinate. She didn't know anything except this coordinate. It doesn't matter. It's good to be able to decipher so much. You must know that you are the only scholar in the world who is not controlled by the world government. Yang Feng shook his head speechlessly. The world government is also a car purchaser. It has been 800 years. What will happen even if the history is discovered? Is the blank space in the middle so important? To put it bluntly, they are the ones in power now, right? Advertisement. Therefore, what the world government did was just unnecessary. Of course, it was not just the 100 years of history, but also the 3 ancient weapons, which were said to be capable of destroying the world. Crocodile is looking for it, and so is the golden lion. These ancient weapons may indeed be very powerful, but Yang Feng has always believed in one thing, that is, people are stronger. After all, Poseidon is a mermaid. If these ancient weapons were more powerful, why would they disappear? No matter how powerful things are, there is always a way to restrain them. This does not mean that they are invincible. There is no such thing as invincibility. Just like Yang Feng, if it is in the Shinigami world, then his ability is not invincible, because there is a special method to restrain Yhwach's ability, but in the pirate world, it is different, there is none at all. But once his Reiatsu is completely consumed, they themselves will not be in trouble, so there is no invincibility, only abilities and weapons that are difficult to deal with. The world government is also afraid that these scholars will follow the clues and reappear the 3 major weapons in the world. Needless to say, Poseidon parasitizes the mermaid princess once every few hundred years. This is how Poseidon came to be. Pluton said it was a huge battleship that could destroy an island in an instant, while Uranus was a complete mystery. These things are feared by the world government. Since they are all afraid, Yang Feng has no reason to underestimate him. Poseidon has not been born yet, the Pluton blueprint is in Tom's hands, and Uranus is missing. Only by killing all scholars can the world government prevent others from understanding these ancient historical texts. Your Majesty, we can already see it. It is indeed a very huge creature. As Barrow's voice fell, the huge elephant master's body slowly rose from the sea level, and everyone was shocked by its huge size. In addition to the country, there are forests on elephant master's back, etc. In fact, you can't tell how big it is by comparing it in the anime, but if you carefully compare the cities and forests above, you will find that elephant master's body is extremely huge. If you just look at the pictures to compare, you can't compare at all. If you compare the city directly, the city plus the forest must be dozens of kilometers away, especially since Zoro got lost on it, so the elephant master's body is at least dozens of kilometers away. This height is at least 10 kilometers, which shows its terrifying size. It is only in such a strange world that such strange creatures are born. The existence of the elephant lord is inexplicable. Advertisement. After living for so many years and growing so big, I think there is no one left. Backquote. This size is probably only comparable to the creatures in Prisoners of Delicious Food. Quote. With such a huge size, the horse king Hercules in the Prisoner of Delicious Food is 22 kilometers tall, almost reaching the height of the 3 Mount Everests. The elephant owner at this moment must be at least half that height. It's incredible. Such a huge creature actually exists in this world. How does it grow? Everyone was shocked, including Yang Feng. No matter who saw such a huge creature, they would be shocked. Especially watching anime and seeing it in real life is a complete visual shock. The huge body soared straight into the sky, and the sky above it was covered well by clouds and mist, and Zuowu Kingdom was hidden inside. Our ship cannot go up at such a high altitude, we can only use people to go up. After judging the height, Barrow said. Indeed, there is no upwelling current here, and it is indeed a huge problem to get up there. Yang Feng nodded. Fortunately, they were all Quincy, otherwise it would be impossible to go up easily. With such a huge body, I wonder if I can kill it with all my strength. A ferocious smile appeared on the corner of Gerald's mouth. Of course, he was just saying that. He was already sweating a little. His body wouldn't be so scary even at its maximum height. It would probably be terrible when it reached half of its height. Don't talk about this now, let's talk about it when we go up, just in time to see these fur tribes. Yang Feng is also very interested in the fur tribe. Chapter 170 for the frightened Sicilian, please subscribe. Advertisement. Such a high distance is very difficult for other people, but it is not a problem at all for the people of the Invisible Empire. They can easily go up by stepping on the road paved by Link Sea. As this Zo, to be honest, from the outside, you can't tell that there really is a country here. Instead, there is even a forest on the back of the giant statue. After everyone boarded Zuowu, they were all very surprised. There was actually a forest on it, but Yang Feng was not very surprised. He had seen it before. Another thing is that weird things will appear when watching anime, so there seems to be no need to make a fuss about the forest here. Who are you? Where did you come from? After Yang Feng and others landed on the island, they met people not far after they walked. It should be said that they were orcs, the so-called fur tribe. The dress was somewhat similar to Zoro in the Middle Ages. Who are you? Gerald asked curiously. He had seen such a talking orc before. After all, the big dog of Soul Society was one. But to be honest, there were too many strange existences in this world, so he was curious. I am Sicilian, the captain of the Inuarashi Musketeers of the Hairy Principality. Who are you? Why did you hurt Zolai? What is the purpose of you 343? Please tell me clearly, otherwise don't blame me for being rude. Quote. Sicilian's current appearance is not as vicissitudes of life as in the original work, but to be honest, he is a fur tribe after all, so Yang Feng is not very able to pay attention to these details. Sicilian, on the other hand, was confused as to where these guys came from. He knew at a glance that they were not from the Kazuki clan here, so they didn't like such humans very much. In their view, humans outside are all greedy. Because the cost of coming here is very high, the fur people are more valuable than the people of the Fishman Island. Especially the cute rabbits and cats are loved by celestial dragons and other nobles. As a result, this place is also a place where human traffickers often come. However, due to the relatively strong force, it has not been easily broken. There is even an elephant owner here, so ordinary people simply do not dare to come and make trouble. Advertisement. Only Jack, a guy with half a pound of brains, would challenge the elephant lord without any brains. He is as brainless as Kaido of the beasts. When Yang Feng first saw Kaido, he thought that this guy should be a super ABBJ, strong man, and he was very calm and hockey no matter what he did, but he didn't expect that he would drink and cry casually. This bad image suddenly changed his mind. Destroyed. Just like a lunatic, Jack is also a lunatic. Sengoku and Fujitora both dared to mess around. After doing it, they went to challenge the Elephant Master, but were defeated by one move. I was drunk just thinking about it. He even wondered if the people at Kaido were ignorant and did nonsense. Of course, Jack also left a huge wound on the elephant owner's trunk, which was enough for him to be proud of. I am the leader of the Invisible Empire. Don't tell you that although it is high here, newspapers from outside will be brought in. Take me to meet the people of the Kazuki clan. I have something to talk to them about. Yang Feng got straight to the point. He didn't want to waste time with this guy. To be honest, he didn't take anyone seriously. Including the so-called King of Day and King of Night, neither of them was a problem. Together, these two fought with Jack for a long time, but the King of Day and Inuarashi were still captured by Jack. When the two of them joined forces, they were seriously injured by that idiot Jack, so they posed no threat to him at all. The leader of the Invisible Empire. You are actually here. What business do you have with the Kazuki clan? Sicilian's face suddenly changed. He felt that the people he just saw were very familiar. Now by comparison, it is true that the main force of the Invisible Empire is here. This is an organization that can compete with the world government. Gudong. Sicilian couldn't help but gulp when he thought of this. It was too scary. Such a lineup would cause panic no matter where it went. The same would happen when they come here. You don't have to worry about this. Anyway, you should know that you can't stop us. Take us to see your two kings. In addition, inform the Kazuki clan to prepare the red stone. My purpose is the red stone. As for what the red stone is, you tell them and they'll understand. Advertisement. The secret of the red stone has not yet been fully exposed, and the Kazuki family is hiding it very tightly, so even Sicilian doesn't know what the red stone is. I understand, then please come with me. Sicilian had no choice but to make an invitation. Just kidding, what's the point of not inviting him? He is the boss of the Invisible Empire, and he can destroy your existence at will. It can be said that the entire Zuowu together is not enough for him to fight. So he didn't dare to provoke them easily, so he could only take Yang Feng and others to the Fur tribe's residence, which is the so-called Furry Principality. I have to say that this name is good. The people here, including the Kazuki clan, are all furry people, so it's not bad to call it the Furry Principality. It's really nice to have a large pillow when you sleep at night. Of course, this is only possible if Garrett exists like this. He didn't want to sleep with a man in his arms at night. He didn't have such a strong taste. Hey, look, Captain Sicilian came in with a group of humans. These people are obviously not from the Kazuki clan, and their clothes are also weird. As soon as they entered, Yang Feng and others became the focus. In the human world, these guys were just ornaments, but here it was as if they had become ornaments. It's really unpleasant. The way these guys look at us is so rude. Gerald said unhappily, everyone would be unhappy if they were treated like monkeys. Master Miracle Power, they definitely don't mean this at all, they are just curious. After all, except for the Kazuki family, we have almost no outsiders here, so please bear with me. Sicilian's sweat dropped instantly. Basically, except for those little girls, if anyone here got angry, Gen Zuowu would be gone, so he was very frightened, fearing that those guys would offend the people of the Invisible Empire. Okay Gerald, don't lose your temper. This is a normal thing. If they were walking on the streets of the human world, we would probably look at them the same way. Yang Feng stepped forward to be the peacemaker. Chapter 175 The King of Day and Night. Please subscribe. Advertisement. Everyone, the palace of our furry principality is just ahead. I will take you to see Lord Inuarashi. Sicilian said as he led the way and led everyone outside the palace. As for the Kazuki family, someone has already gone to find them, and they will probably come to the palace later. After all, no force dares to refuse what their invisible empire wants. Under the leadership of Sicilian, no one dared to stop them. After all, when they saw the faces of these people from the invisible empire, they did not dare to be presumptuous. They could only let them go honestly, otherwise they would be angry and the whole people who crossed the border would be angry. Gone. The palace is not very big, after all, it is on the back of an elephant, so the scale they built is not very large. It is good to be able to build a palace, and Fur is not very concerned about these etiquette. So when they came to Inuarashi, they only walked about 1,000 meters. Lord Inuarashi, I have something to see you in Lower Sicilian. Sicilian came to Inuarashi's study and called out. It was a self-announcement. He was very helpless to Yang Feng. Can't you be more normal now that you're here? I haven't seen you know the rules outside. It's Sicilian, what do you want from me? As he spoke, a relatively loud voice pushed open the door. Inuarashi was also relatively tall, almost 5 meters or more. In fact, to put it bluntly, he was just a relatively large dog that could talk and wear clothes. Inuarashi, who pushed out the door, originally thought that Sicilian was the only one, but suddenly saw so many people in front of him and did not react for a while. Lord Inuarashi, this is Yang Feng, the leader of the Invisible Empire. The others also belong to the Invisible Empire. I found them in the woods before, so I took them with me. Sicilian explained that it was an introduction to Inuarashi, but it could also be regarded as an early warning, telling Inuarashi that these people are from the Invisible Empire, so be sure not to provoke them. Each of these guys is a super king of destruction. I see. It's a great honor to meet you all from the Invisible Empire again. What's going on until you come to the Fur Tribe's territory? Advertisement. Inuarashi was not an idiot, so he naturally understood the meaning of Sicilian's words, so he did not dare to be vague at the moment. However, he was still a little frightened when he thought of the Invisible Empire. After all, the reputation of the Invisible Empire is really great now. Our purpose this time is very simple. They are the Kazuki clan here. As far as I know, they should be the guardians of the Red Stone. This kind of thing is also a disaster if it is left here with you. Why don't you leave this disaster to me? Yang Feng doesn't like to beat around the bush, especially since he is very powerful. He goes straight to the topic as soon as he comes up, which makes Inulan a little overwhelmed and stunned for an instant. In his eyes, ordinary politicians, no matter what they do or what their purpose is, would not speak like this from the beginning. It is really rare for people to speak like this from the beginning. It's really straightforward, but I don't know very much about the Red Stone you are talking about. You can ask them after the Kazuki clan comes. Inuarashi dumped the blame very cleverly. Since the matter was left to the Kazuki clan to discuss, he would not interfere. Yang Feng nodded to this, what else could he do? Everyone has already passed the blame, so it has nothing to do with Inuarashi at all. I have to say that Inuarashi's trick is really slippery. Of course, it can't be said to be a scapegoat. After all, they are all Momonosuke's subordinates. Even the Elephant Master needs Momonosuke to speak when he attacks, so they are basically servants. Although they are kings, to put it bluntly, still a servant. Inuarashi. While everyone was waiting, a rough voice came in, and Inuarashi smiled helplessly. This voice was too familiar, wasn't it another being called a king? He, Inuarashi, is called the King of Day, and the other King of Night is Cat Viper. Cat Viper and him can be said to have an auxiliary relationship, one is equivalent to the king, and the other is equivalent to the general. Neko Viper leads his team of knights to guard the Whale Forest. As an armed defense force, in the original book, this guy and Inuarashi fought with Jack for several days, so their strength is not weak. As a guard, when Cat Viper heard that outsiders were coming, he couldn't just sit idly by. What's more, the people coming were Yang Feng and others from the Invisible Empire. He couldn't ignore it anymore. Therefore, in order to prevent Inuarashi from suffering a loss, he learned the news as soon as possible. Just came over. Advertisement. 0 Please give me flowers. Cat Viper, there are guests here, please sit down first. Inuarashi also knows why Neko Viper is in such a hurry. After all, the Invisible Empire is the biggest thing at stake, so Neko Viper is naturally afraid that he will suffer a loss. After all, he has been completely abused in terms of force. Okay. Cat Viper rushed in and saw both parties sitting peacefully without saying anything. He was stunned for a moment. In his impression, people from the Invisible Empire should come and propose some weird conditions, but now it seems it's completely because I'm overthinking it. Knowing that he was a bit reckless, Neko Viper embarrassedly touched his big head, and then sat next to Inuarashi. Inuarashi, what do these guys want to do here? It seems that no one in our fur tribe can provoke them. Cat Viper lowered his voice and asked. The voice was very low, but the people present were all people with keen senses, so they naturally heard it, but it didn't matter, so just ask. Don't talk nonsense, they are just looking for people from the Kazuki clan, so we just need to wait quietly. Inuarashi pressed the big head of Neko Viper back and said slowly, after all, he was not the one who made the decision, so he could only wait. But soon the members of the Kazuki family arrived, and this man was naturally the most damned person among pirates, Momosuke's father, Kazuki Oden. Yang Feng quickly went through the information about this guy in his mind. It is said that this guy was a person who went to Lavrud, but he died after going there. Of course, it is normal that he is still alive now. He has no left. Of course Momonosuke is still here. I have to say that there is a daimyo in every world, and it is the same now. The Wanokuni Kuri daimyo has the highest power here. If necessary, he can also mobilize the elephant owner. It has to be said that this guy has very great power. But he was so careless that he actually gave birth to a thing like Momonosuke. People say that Ace's revenge can be ignored, and One Piece can be unfair, but Momonosuke must die. It's because that little thing is too insignificant.